Hello, 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 everyone. How is it going? We have matches again today. It's been a while. It has been a while. Today we're doing they are playing Dallas, right? Yeah, Dallas. That'll be a good match. Here we are today. Looks like we have gonna get everything ready. I think this should be good. Hello, hello. So today we have Flats once again joining us today. How is it going, Flats? How are you feeling about today's match?
Good morning, YouTube. I have got a goodie, and I mean a goodie for you today.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. I'm glad to hear that you've been we're gonna have a goodie today. I think it's gonna be a good match. I agree. I think it's gonna be hopefully Shock is able to 3-0 this, but I'm hoping that it will be a pretty good match. What do you think? Like, what is your prediction for today, Flats?
Good morning, YouTube. I have got a goodie, and I mean a goodie for you today.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. So I think Flats is going with a 3-0 there for Shock. I'm not really quite sure what he's going to be going with at this point, but that does sound like it could be a good match. I'm glad to hear that we have a good match. I think the match starts here shortly. It looks like they're just kind of in the commentators now, so I will get that going here shortly. Anything else you want to say, Flats, before the match starts?
Good morning, YouTube. I have got a goodie, and I mean a goodie for you today.
Okay, well that's good then. All right, let's go over to the casters now into the match, see what's going on.
Full prediction leaderboard, but also I feel
all
like
right, here we go.
Full prediction we ever do is like this.
Get this working here.
Trio, this team. So actually,
all right.
Not respected Danny.
But yes, thank you, Flats. I appreciate
this player who hasn't played this role.
Played
three. Checkmate. We have had
the match.
We had checkmate play,
I
so
can't
that
wait.
worked. I think
all
we
right.
did predict again on the day checkmate play with prior information.
Yeah,
so
over two.
It's not completely
the match.
As a device.
It should be working. There we go. It does work. All right, perfect.
Let me
set the quality on this. Usually I have it set to auto, but I want to just set it to. There we go. All right, so now we'll be good the whole time.
Informed us, Johnny. You actually had the hammer kill, the Torp hammer kill.
All right. Well, here we are for the matches today.
I remember that one.
Yeah, so Flats is at a his friend has a birthday today, so he's out there, and it ran a lot later than he expected. So we will be doing the co-stream today solo. Let me turn the volume down.
Spicy chips, you know, with the spice on them.
There we go. Sorry.
That's not spicy.
So Flats will not be joining us today for the co-stream. Like I said, he's a little bit late today.
Captain
So.
Serious down there at the end of the day.
A little bit late today.
You know, he can't go that bold. He's always
He might join us in between each map, though. We'll see.
Any fun.
It's
Captain
like
Serious.
Oh, well, hopefully we can see if Shock is finally starting to come together as a team. Obviously, it's been a new meta once again. We have some different hero bands. As we know, we have Sigma band. I forgot what the other bands are. Sigma, I think Echo,
These two teams actually
Lucio, and
I
forgot what the fourth hero band is.
In qualifiers. So when it comes to sort of these, let's call them regular season games,
I'm hoping for a 3-0 by Shock.
pretty good in this
I'm hoping for a 3-0 by Shock.
We're talking about a team in the Dallas Fuel Mat who qualify for knockouts without going 4-0 in every stage, right? Sometimes it can be rocky.
Oh man, that was great. All right, I'm ready.
Understanding of the best way to play the meta right now. But one thing's for sure is the Dallas Fuel definitely have fallen just a little bit from their glory.
I think Ash, yes, Ash.
Earlier
yeah.
here in the season, they go up against really quality opposition in the East.
So those are the hero bands. If I'm correct, Fuel actually lost their match yesterday to Paris. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's who won yesterday. So I'm hoping for a good match. It's like I said, it's been a bit, so it's good to finally be able to do this again. I hope everybody's doing well today, having a good day. I'm ready.
The team that needs to be in those highlight games.
Yeah, they've set the bar pretty high, right? The Dallas Fuel.
Everything should be working.
The first tournament
Right.
of the year, making the finals of the second one. They've set the bar pretty high. I don't think what's being played now is like their strongest suit, though, right? So we do see Fuel back in the lineup today.
Let's see what the lineups are today. Obviously, we have Dallas Fuel. It's gonna be a good matchup. These are some of the best teams in the league. It's funny because you look at Shock's record, and they're 9-3. Shock has been playing fairly well this season. They just haven't been able to really come together right when during the tournaments. But if I'm correct, is this the last? Is Oh, I see what's happening here. There we go. So this is is this the last month of tournaments before like the grand final, like final tournament? So like every match is so important for these teams right now. So if I'm correct, right? But I'm pretty sure. So, and I should have gotten rid of the buffering on the side.
We'll see how much value
Flats wants 250 likes before the end of map 1. So. Oh yeah, how is the volume on the match right now? Is it good? Look here. Is this good? Is that a good volume? Can you hear me well? Can you hear the game well? Sorry, it's hard to tell what the sounds are like. It's hard to tell what the sounds are like because of when my AC's on. It's just like I can't tell. Is this good? Can you hear me? Can you hear the game well?
I wonder though if this is like one of their best looks, right? I think people were kind of FD God, I think, has really put a lot of pressure on himself, hasn't really kind of
let's go.
Had the easiest transition into the shock. And
we have Ons, Nero, Smurf, Choi, Twilight, and Violet are the starting 6 today on the first map. And it's on Koth, which, as we know, Shock has been struggling on Koth. But they've had a lot of practice. And if there's one, this is it. This is where they need to start popping off because they really need to get a good record going forward here. So
we've seen Nero play really well.
Has to start now.
All
right,
comes in and is able
let's
to
go.
Play, 76, Tracer, Torbjorn, like McCree.
Let me turn the game up just a little bit. All right,
see the Shock having a
we'll try that. I've learned that we start off with it being like the volume low, and then we kind of raise the volume a little bit to figure out what works well.
This team has the same number of regular season wins.
That should be a little bit better.
Dallas Fuel. Both these teams are 9 wins right now, and you hinted it earlier on, Matt. They're still, very much.
That should be a little bit better.
Tier, the top echelon of the league in general. Despite the demeanor of their fans of late, you might have thought that they were struggling around 500 or somewhere. This team is anything but languishing right now. They have a very deep roster.
I imagine Shock has been practicing a lot. Like I said, these are the matches that matter the most too. Like they need to win these to get a good record to be able to like pretty much qualify for like the final bracket, if I'm correct. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. And that has no hero bans. Like the last final tournament, right? The last final tournament they have has no hero bans. So if they can do really well during this with hero bands and pop off, next thing you know, we can see Shock setting themselves up for hopefully another finals run. That would be the hope. Obviously, they haven't been playing as well as they normally do. They're still 9-3 and they play. They have a good record. It's just this is where they need to start like really up in their game.
Not like bad, not the performances we know from him in the past, but just a little bit quiet.
Here we go.
And I think that's been a little bit of like.
Looks like they are running the ball comp. I've been hearing a lot about the ball diva comp, and apparently Fuel's actually running the Winston diva comp. So we're actually gonna have 2 different comps right now. So I'm kind of curious to see how how they mirror. Although I have to set the 1080p, but does this look like it's 1080p right now, or does it seem a little bit? I wonder if I should set it to auto. And they're running the Farrah Mercy mirror, and Twilight actually gets the first pick. Wow, you don't see that too often. What a pick by Twilight.
He's controlling that mega health pack there. And a Vita grenade to follow up there.
And so Flats won't be here today. Flats has a birthday party, or a birthday, not like a party, but birthday, just like a his friend's birthday is today, so a couple people are hanging out too.
Pretty quickly.
To just hang out, eat some food, and it ran a lot later than expected. So he'll not be on today.
Very easy to deal with. Wrecking Ball has great survivability, mobility.
So yeah, that's where he is. He'll be here tomorrow. He'll be here for tomorrow's co-stream, as far as I know. He'll be here for tomorr's co-stream, but it's his friend's birthday, so he's hanging out.
Like, if they can play this, and then what?
For his friend's birthday.
Just transitions over and plays like the Zen. I mean, hell, even Twilight playing the Zen.
Okay.
He's tremendous.
I haven't set the 1080p right now, but it just seems to like not be like, I guess, perfect quality. But it's all good. It works. It works. Really good start for Shock, though. Obviously, starting off with a 50%. They're getting early picks. Every team fight so far, we've seen early picks. And actually, Nero is in a really... This is very unique matchup going on right there, but is able to survive that. And while Shock is down one, they're just still kind of 5v5 for a little bit, and it looks like Fuel might be able to take the fight back here. I don't really see... I don't know, actually. Maybe with Smurf having ultimate here, though. Smurf can maybe go to point soon with ult. and buy just enough time for them to be able to keep the point. And it looks like that's what they're going to do. I think Smurf will ult, and Smurf does ult. Doa does get the pulse bomb, but does not get the kill, and Smurf gets a kill with the mines, and it looks like Shock might actually be able to turn this fight around. Nero playing this very patient right there. Nero was just kind of waiting rather than try to go for the kill there. Nero was just being a little bit patient there with the shots, and is able to get one kill. Actually, it looks like Fuel might just have to reset. Wow. And Nero kind of did that. Nero wasn't even being pocketed at the time. That was a really, really good play.
I mean, like what? The Fuel.
That was a really good play.
Twice now.
Wow.
They haven't really been in position to.
What a good start.
Right now is probably their best opportunity.
What a good start.
And it doesn't look like it's going to work out as Nero gets both tanks with a big barrage.
He'll get caught by the self-destruct, but getting rid of Hanbin after he desuited for the self-destruct is really nice.
And it looks like Fuel might be able to take the point back here, but I mean, Shock cannot complain about the start they have right now. Even if Fuel gets the point here, and they do have a little bit of ultimates to go, Shock is going to be able to build up ults here. And as long as Shock is able to be smart and not take too many early, basically don't get picked early in every team fight, there's an opportunity for them to just save up their ultimates, win this fight around like the 60 to 70% mark, and take the first round. Which for them is super important for them. Like, this is something that they need to. They've been struggling a ton on this map, or not on this map, but like Koth in general, or on Koth in general. So for them, you know, I think if they can get this first map, you can see them finish the series extremely strong. Right there, this is kind of an interesting part that just happened in this match. They kind of capped the point behind them when there wasn't that many picks on Dallas, and then Dallas kind of now has to go back and get the point because it's in overtime, which actually, if you look, is forcing them to have to use their ultimates, which is now going to give Shock an even bigger ult advantage. That was kind of a very unique, like, play that happened right there. You don't see that happen too often.
Right, which, you know, forces the Dallas Heal to use some of these ultimates.
Wow.
San Francisco.
That was really cool, actually. That was like they just bought so much time, and Fuel had to ult. And now look at Fuel's ultimates. They're gonna have D.Va ult coming up and probably Winston ult soon. But this is the fight where Shock can actually go to point together. And what we're seeing right now is actually Hans work with Smurf going to point together and able to actually get on here and put a lot of pressure, which actually is making Hyman have to come back. And I actually think they might be able to take this. They actually might be able to take this fight. Violet gets both supports. Literally both supports. Wow. I think Shock's gonna take this. I think Shock might take this first round.
Shock can move back to the point now, but Violet's definitely already made.
I mean, unless something crazy happens here. Maybe D.Va on point.
He's taking damage from his own rockets because there's a D.Va in his face.
Ooh.
Keeps him at arm's length.
Wow.
Great start for San Francisco.
That was great play by Smurf and Hans right there, by the way. Violet had that huge double kill right there on the supports, but the amount of pressure they were putting on the point by going there, that was really good decision making by them. They would take the first round. What a great first round by Shock right there. Wow.
And then Fielder as well.
That was great.
It was inside like close quarters. He ends up taking out Fielder. Takes the 1v1.
That was great. Holy
Nero
crap!
Just leaves him to take that battle. Which honestly, you know, Val King Mercy against Ana, like that's kind of tough. The Mercy and Val are very difficult to hit. Is you see, goes with the Glock here, turns, doesn't even think about pulling his staff out.
Fielder, the family sends their regards, mate.
There you go. Wow.
Oh God. Sorry, headphone users.
Good start. All right.
Here we go. Well,
they need to continue on, though, with some good play here. So you know, Shock needs to continue to play like they just did right there. That was really well played by Shock. That was just some really good team play.
Go the Winston route.
So one thing we saw Shock get a lot of those team fights was the first pick. If Shock's able to get the first pick again here, now obviously that you know, well of course when they get the first pick, that's you know going to win them team fights. But we've seen a lot of fights where Shock doesn't get the first pick, and we're starting to see them you know put a lot more pressure on teams, and we're seeing them win those team fights. But unfortunately, they do not get the first pick this fight, and I'm actually curious to see if they actually turn this fight around. It does look like Fielder is taking a little bit of damage in the back, but Shock goes down, and that's what I was just talking about. The first pick is super important, and Shock had almost every first pick in the last fight, outside of like towards the end there where they kind of just went to point and kind of made those plays. But it's very crucial that they come back here and are able to get those first picks that they did the other fights. Which is kind of obvious at that point. It's like, oh yeah, well obviously you want to get the first pick, but Shock has been one of the teams that's always been able to win fights, even when they don't have the first pick, but recently they've been losing a little bit more.
Nano boost available here.
And where teams are taking advantage of being up like 6v5 at that point. So, I'm curious to see how the next team fight goes because last time they started off strong and they didn't win the first team fight. But look at this aggression by them. They got both supports. What a great dive. What a great dive by Shock right there. Able to get the first pick, able to get multiple kills. Obviously, both supports are down for fuel right now, so at this point, I don't even think. I'm curious. I'm actually surprised that Dallas ulted that because they just don't have the supports to be able to keep them up, and while they're trying to delay the point as long as they can, I don't think that Diva Bomb's going to get too much value, and it doesn't. And now that resets their ult pool a little bit, and if we look at Shock right now, they actually have a pretty good amount of ults going in this next fight, while Fuel's going to have to rely on Pharah ultimate, which sometimes doesn't get the most value. It really depends on what's happening in the team fights. They're going to have Winston ultimate, they're going to have Valk, but Shock is going to have Pulse Bomb, they're going to have Ball ult, which Ball ult gives them a lot of space, and they're also going to have Valk. So we're going to have 3 ults on each side, with a little bit of an advantage for Ana right now, with 50% on Twilight in comparison to 30% on Fielder. So Shock does have a bit of an ult advantage, but they do need to make that same aggressive play they did. If they play aggressive like they did last time, I can see them actually winning this fight. And if you can see, Fuel has to play a little bit more defensive, because Fuel just saw them do that play, and now they need to sit in the back. But what Shock recognizes is they do that, so Shock backs away, and they're able to win the fight, and they're able to take some time here to be able to reset the fight, and then go back in for a dive. Fuel dives in because obviously Fearless has the ultimate, so Fearless is going to go for the back line, and is able to get a kill there. I'm not even sure they're going to be able to get a res. Nero's probably going to have to go for an ultimate, a Pharah ultimate right here, to be able to buy time, but I don't even know if that's going to even work out. It really depends what happens here with Smurf's ult. They might just reset this and say, you know what, let's give them it. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. Violet does ult, but I don't know if they'll be able to turn the fight around. I guess the Valk got, I don't know, it was kind of like,
and the point will flip.
it was kind of interesting ult usage. Because it looked like half of them were like, you know what, we're just going to reset. And then the other half of the team was like, no, we're going to go for it. And then they used some of their ultimates. But, I mean, they still have a good amount of ults going into this fight. But it seemed like there was a little bit of maybe miscommunication on what they wanted to do there. Which can happen. Because you'll be like, oh no, reset. And then as you say reset and you go to reset, your teammate gets a kill. And you're like, oh wait, it's still winnable. And then somebody gets picked at the exact same time. And it's kind of like this. And I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
It's a bloody windmill.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Nero can come over the top here with a barrage, but doesn't have the damage mitigation anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he can actually go for the pick yet.
And answers brought back
very interesting team fight right now.
Dallas are still in control.
Very interesting team fight.
It's going to be a remake for him and nothing else. Slapped by Fielder, and it's an easy pick up for Fearless.
So you're getting into the scenario where we're just going to be in a
Shock's gonna have to keep touching the point. Watch Smurf right now. Smurf's gonna keep going back into point as long as he can. It may just have to die there to be able to do that. Nero does get a pick, which means I think they at least have to force out res.
Yeah, Jackson pop Valk there looking for a resurrect potentially, but there's so much happening on the ground that it's dangerous.
It's hard to say. I think it's gonna be a tough fight for Shock to win right now, because they have to keep touching the point. But at the same time, Shock has enough people there to kind of play it slow. And with Violet having Valk, it gives them a little bit more time. So if Shock's able to kind of just not really overcommit to each of the team fights here, they might be able to come back and actually win this fight.
And Dallas get the job done here in the second round. Make it competitive.
Yeah, and it looked like Violet was going to go touch.
Yeah.
Was the one that I think they were relying on to touch.
So
and he actually gets slept.
About that. On to the third round now.
Unfortunate there for San Francisco, but I think what you saw.
On to the third round now. Okay, so they definitely didn't play Ruins as, or not Ruins. They definitely didn't play that map as well as they wanted to on Well. But Ruins is definitely a map that, at least in my opinion, can go really well for Shock. I think it plays a little bit more into their play styles too. I think a map like Well is, I mean, a map like Well is a little bit more. The team fights are not as.
I wonder if
the team fights are a little bit different in comparison to the other two maps. It's quite frequently you'll see a team win Well and then lose the other two. So if we look now, Shock's actually gonna go in a rush comp. It's not like a rush comp. It's more of like a defensive rush comp. I know that doesn't really make sense because they're not Russian. We've seen them run this comp before. It's really where they stick together as a team and don't give the opportunity for the other team to dive them. So Fuel has a decent comp against this because they can run the Sombra, but if Sombra can't really get ultimate too fast and Shock's able to win the fight, by the time they rotate around and are able to have their Brig ultimate, then Shock will have the better comp. So what I mean by that is if Shock wins the first fight, more than likely they'll be able to build Brig ult by the time they have EMP, and they can use their Brig ult kind of as like an aggressive ultimate during the EMP, as in if they time it correctly, and they can win the fight even with EMP. So EMP loses a little bit of value in that fight. It doesn't mean EMP is bad against them. EMP is very, very good in that comp. It's more along the lines that this is a comp that can prevent that comp from doing well, and as we see, they switch off of Sombra right away because they lost the first fight. So now they're not able to run that because they just can't. It's just once, because now once Twilight had Brig ult, which Twilight would probably have Brig ultimate before Sombra gets ult, they can now run that ultimate rotation, and the EMP just won't matter, and they switch off right away. It just wasn't going to work. So that was a really good start for Shock. Obviously, this is the double bubble comp, not the double bubble comp, excuse me. This is the comp where we'll see Ana and Winston do this combo where they just kind of rush in, and obviously they do lose Twilight there, which it kind of seemed pretty easy for them to do that, which I think it could have been a little bit, I mean, I guess maybe they went, I actually don't know what happened there. I'm trying to figure out why Twilight went down so easily there, because obviously, I guess their team just played spread, but not the best fight for Shock, but obviously they still have their ult pool, and they didn't have to do much there. I mean, Shock didn't even use an ultimate. They're at 44% on all those. Fuel did have to use an ultimate, but Fearless does have ult. And Winston ultimate on this map can be really good, especially if they go left side, so I imagine Shock's probably going to kind of go right side in this team fight and try to force the fight towards the bridge side rather than the left side, because if Fearless gets a good ultimate on the left side, or I say left and right, more on the side where you get pooped off the map, then I can see them getting rolled on that one. It really depends. But Shock does go down here. Smurf, big slam.
Great timing.
Really good job there by Choi to react to that. And Ans went to Widow. This could actually go really well for them. I love this switch because now they're going to be forced to have to go into the backline to get on Ans. And as we know, Ans is an insanely good Widow. One of the best Widows. And obviously Ans has been playing a lot more now. So obviously when Ans first came back, sometime last month, obviously it was going to take Ans a little bit to get warm back up and kind of get back into the flow of playing Widow. But now we get to see Ans with more practice, and Ans has been practicing to be able to play Widow and be that dominant Widow that that we've seen. So they're probably going to be able to go in the back of the map here, play distance, and force Fuel to have to dive in the backline, which is also why Fearless went Wrecking Ball, because Wrecking Ball is probably the only hero right now that can get on the backline and get on the Widow. Not even to kill Widow, just to put pressure on the Widow so Widow doesn't get that space. And that's why Fearless is going the outside of the map by himself in the back. If you look, you'll probably see Fearless be on Ans in about probably 4 seconds here.
It wasn't the same.
And there we are, 4 seconds later. But as you can see, they're playing with Ans, so Ans won't be able to go down. But they're going to make sure that there'll just be no value there. They're just going to, even if Ans doesn't die there, they've already done enough value. This already is value for them, right? And a really good job by Fearless right there. That was really good play. That was really good play.
Plucked out from under his nose.
Well, you gotta give him credit. That was a really good switch, and I wouldn't doubt it if we see Shock make a switch after too. Maybe they'll stay on Widow because they're able to get walls here very soon, and walls can be very helpful in this team fight, especially with the comp they're running, where they kind of want to know where they're at and kind of go for like a really high value shatter. And that's exactly what I think they're gonna go for. I think Ans is gonna go use walls here. If they lose this fight right away, probably will switch to something else. Probably Tracer. No, not Tracer actually, because Nero's on Tracer. So we'll see. There's walls. Shock has a better idea of where they want to go now. Fearless is once again not going to give Ans any space there. Not going to give Ans any space. They're going to be in the backline the whole time. Are you able to get recall out really fast though?
Smurfs out at sea without a paddle. And Sparkle sends him packing. Nasty on the back.
I imagine we're going to see the swap now off of Widow. And there it is. Swapped off of Widow. 100%.
They left Ans on an island.
This is tough.
To just die. I mean,
this is tough.
Whatsoever. Nobody even thought about her.
Coming down to the last team fight, which is what we expect, right? In matches like this. Wow, but they get the pick.
Smurf has to get there.
They're able to touch the point.
He might want to be one of the only ones. Okay, the shatter is wayward, but he has to get what he can.
It happens. It happens.
Fine, I suppose. Nero goes down, and Smurf has to try and touch.
It happens.
Well, looks a little bit one-sided, doesn't it? He's trying to stay alive. He has to charge off the point, but Tricoban is there.
I mean, what a really good first match.
But no, Hanbin's going to be able to get away with his life in the Dallas field.
So, my opinion, what I saw happen there, which is what made that...
Everything's upside down.
Okay, so here's what I saw that made that go well for Fuel in the end, is that Fuel made hero swaps, like, they basically made a swap,
when they needed to, the Reinhardt.
basically...
for the Shock.
Each time they saw like a hero swap, they were like, okay, so they're running this like you know, Rhine comp. We're not gonna be able to get much value with Sombra here. We're gonna switch to Hanzo. They go Hanzo. They go, oh, they've switched to Widow. We're gonna switch off of Winston now, and we're gonna go Wrecking Ball Tracer. I do think if Shock maybe made that switch off of Widow right away, we might have seen a little bit closer of a team fight at the end there, or a possibility of them winning one of the team fights. It just seemed like Fuel made that like one extra switch a little bit earlier. And then that made the you know, and then basically, yes, if you look at you know, you could go like, oh well, yeah, but they have the Tracer and the ball in the back line, which is, you know, able to give them, it's basically a 4v5. But the problem is because, you know, obviously there's no Lucio right now because Lucio's banned, you can't really speed boost to get value on the other team. So Shock isn't able to speed boost onto Fuel and take, you know, win that 5v4, right? Or that they just can't. So what Fuel's gonna do is they're gonna play it safe, and if they need to call back Fearless or Sparkle to the point, they can do that, and then they won't be able to, they're never going to lose the point at that point. So essentially it was just a really good hero swap, and it allowed for them to actually get a lot of value. And then that's what happened there. They made a really smart hero swap at the correct time, and then because Shock wasn't able to counter it right away, which they tried to right at the end, Fuel was able to win that. So it's really not that big of an adjustment to make. Like, you look at that, and it's an adjustment they look at and they'll go, oh crap, we should have switched right here because obviously we weren't going to get that same value. So yeah. So that's pretty much what happened there. It was just came down to that. I think both teams played really well. Shock still played really well. It really just came down to one team fight. And when it comes down to one team fight, you know, kind of happens. So, yeah. So now we wait on to the next map. I'm not sure what map it was. Did we see what map it was? I didn't see what it was. I just don't know what map it is. But yeah, it was well played by both teams. That's one of those maps where both teams played extremely well. Another swap that Shock could have done there that might have helped is if they went the ball Tracer comp themselves also. But I think they were very committed to keeping their ultimates, and I think that's okay. But it's more about what they have to do across the whole team with how they do the hero swaps. I mean, it happens. Still well played by both teams. Obviously, you know, we want to see Shock take that first map, but hey, let's look at the bright side. Shock, you know, has struggled a ton on Koth, and they played a very good Koth there against a very good team. And when you see that, that's good. That means they definitely have improved on Koth already. And when it comes down to it just being like a slight adjustment like that, that's only going to make them better at Koth. Their Koth from day one to now is definitely improved, and that's what we like to see. So, yep, that's what we like to see. But we'll see. The next map is Numbani is the next map. So, you know what? That's a very good map for both teams because I want to obviously that's a very good map for Smurf, but it's also a very good map for Fearless, right? So it's a good map for both teams. Both teams are very happy with this map selection, which I wouldn't doubt it if we see a very close matchup again. Just as close as the Koth we just saw. It's just a good map for both tanks. Both Fearless and Smurf are some of the best, you know, like Winstons we have seen like in the league, and they're both very good at Wrecking Ball at that. I mean, we saw Fearless mid-tournament have to switch to Wrecking Ball 2 one time, and it's just both. This is a good map for both teams. So, a good map for both teams. So let's see if Shock can turn it around. Let's see if Shock can turn it around.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
I mean, both Smurf and Super are both insanely good tanks. They're both they're some of the best main tanks in the league by far. A lot of it just comes down to team comp sometimes, and the map. It's very map dependent. It's very team comp dependent. That's generally when we'll see different like stuff. They're both insanely good tanks. They're both very good.
Just above league average at 101. In the years gone by, man, Shoyoman has been...
Both are very, 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 very good.
To assume that this is not somewhere that he's necessarily over the moon about being.
No, I mean...
But like, I think like a map like Numbani, I was just going to say, I for some reason, I knew after I just talked about how this is a really good map for Smurf, we would see Super come in and play. Just as I knew that was going to happen too. I'm like, you know what? Last time we did this too, we're like, this map is great for Smurf. Super came in, but that is also.
So I was mentioning maybe this was the team that was messing around.
I think. I'm wondering if this is going to be to run a Rhine comp or a ball comp.
True though, going into Numbani.
We'll try and expand that conversation a little bit because I think it's worth.
I was going to say, I think Super has a really good plays a really good ball, especially in matches for the most part, right? Like a really good ball. So I wouldn't doubt it if this is to run the ball comp the whole time, or if it's to run the Rhine comp. Because like I can see why, because on second and third of this map, Winston doesn't play as well. So they don't play as well.
Something that is situational.
Winston doesn't have like. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm curious. I'm actually very curious to what comp they run. Either way, once again, this is one of the best parts about having two of like, you know, two insanely good main tanks in your team in Super and Smurf, is that you can change them on maps where you like, oh wow, and they're both really good main tanks. So it's more gonna be about like the team comp they want to run.
Who knows?
So.
I like that. Look,
Data
pulled out the Rhine when you had to play on a corner against.
Are they running?
So you can break line.
I don't think they're
easily until you're right in front of her. When you have to play it right,
I don't think they're gonna. Are they running an Arista comp? I don't think so.
Unless you charge, like,
Maybe they are. I don't even know. I guess we'll see.
We'll see. Dallas are playing Winston on defense here, so this is like the Farah Sombra look with the focus on sort of you can nano sparkle or Fearless is an option. Fearless is definitely less empowered to be a carry presence in this sort of composition.
Yeah, they're gonna run ball. They're running ball.
Okay, I was gonna say maybe they can play the Torbjorn.
Super's been spamming Arista.
They're running the Rista. Okay. They're running the Rista. I thought maybe they were gonna because Super was standing like in the spawn to switch heroes. They're running the Arista comp. All right, let's go. Here we go. It's time. They're gonna go for high ground control, by the way.
Yep.
Because this is where they'll get the most value. But once they, I'm curious to see how they react to the Farah, because Farah can do a really good job of spamming in there.
Defenders like to go for that sort of Arista when they can. Attack is still
they're gonna have window. Chat. Look at the L charger window. Oh yeah, Ans is probably gonna die. It was a smart play, but the timing was off. But look at the window charge. They got window almost right away. They got window in like 2 seconds. But how did they get window? A bunch of damage.
That is a fast barrage. An Ant Matrix used here as well early on is
I think Fuel wins this fight, but wow, that was a very fast window.
Just needs to get healed up. I mean, he was so.
That was a very fast window.
And the problem is, yeah, he can peak Fuel now, and he's back to full health. Nero remains embedded though.
That strat, by the way, by
by
Shock actually was really good. If Ans, I think if the timing was perfect with Ans there, they would have actually managed to get like a really good play. Just the timing was like a second off.
Fielder.
Ooh, this could be a good play by Nero. Because Fielder has to be on. Fielder has to. I was gonna say, yeah, but
not
able to do much.
No, I mean. The fight's pretty much over.
Once again,
his team gets ran
the toughest point for Shock is going to be this first point. But if they get this first point with the comp that they have, second point and third point get a lot easier. And I wouldn't doubt if they turn this fight around here with a quick bongo. Like the moment they see that. But at the same time, I was going to say they're going to EMP in. There it is.
Just on those three.
There it is.
Obviously not the biggest value of EMP, but
no, the EMP was.
You get rid of tanks, it stalls out.
The reason why the EMP was good there, and they're talking about the EMP in general, the EMP was really good because it bought them that team fight. There was a chance Shock could turn that fight around after they got those 2 picks, so that basically gives them that team fight. Shock doesn't have the numbers yet to be able to push out aggressively, but if they don't do that, Shock is going to win that fight. That gives them time. And they actually switch off right to Hanzo after that because they're not going to be able to build up another EMP. That was a really good play by them. Really smart decision by them to do that. That was a very good play.
All right. Time for Bob the Builder.
Very good play.
Well, that turret didn't last long. Sparkle there is nanoed, by the way, so he is just going to sit right here. Have some fun. Self-destruct there from Hanvin. He'll get himself that extra kill.
That was a lot of damage.
Shocker trying to Orisa set up into this here, but they have to push through a troll.
That was a lot of damage.
They don't have a lot of mobility. They're really hoping just to front load more damage in the fuel and force them back. That has not worked because Sparkle is getting
that was a lot of
value
damage.
just playing close, getting AoE damage.
You know, you solve it, Mitch. You just add even more damage. So now we just add Zen in the mix. So
wow.
5-ed.
I just, after that was just a good fight for Fuel. But look at the... wow, that pick.
So
I was just going to say, look at the ults that Fuel has.
You also have Doha.
They have no ultimates.
So these shields not going to last very long.
Like, this could be a fight that, I was going to say, Shock can win this. And that's... Okay, so people are probably wondering why Fuel just did that. They had a pick. So they had a pick. So they wanted to be aggressive because they didn't have any ultimates, and they knew that if they gave too much space to... If they gave too much space to Shock, then Shock would be able to win the fight because of their ults. So they wanted to make an aggressive play when they were up in numbers, but then as that was happening, they were able to turn it around and win. Good job there. Good play. And now second and third, this Orisa comp is a lot better. Fuel's comp gets a little bit worse. Their comp is still pretty good. It can still play well, especially if they play well as a team. But right now, this is definitely a good comp for Shock. Going into second here, they can definitely take a fight here. And it looks like they're actually going to go with the Widow comp, which makes sense for the sight lines here. There's a time in here where Dallas is going to be forced to be aggressive, but they really don't want to be that aggressive until the cart gets to the end of like the bus here, which is exactly why they're waiting to take the fight, because there's no point to fight the corner if with the comp that Shock's running. So they're going to wait, and they're going to take the fight around the corner here. But that's why you see Shock being aggressive with their Bongo. And this is going to give them time to get it past the corner where Dallas wanted to fight it. And now they're in a little bit better spot. It's a pretty smart play across the board. And now Nero's going to use his ultimate, which is going to give them time on the dive. And now, as long as Shock can stay together as a team here and keep up the heals, they might do okay. But it looks like, as I say that, they're able to go in with their ultimates, and Dallas, was able to win the fight. It was one of those things where the play by Shock was smart. But now they're going to lose the value in Widow now because the cart already pushed back. If Dallas had taken an early fight there, right, and they were able to get the picks, then, it would be really hard for Fuel to be able to retake that. But now that happened, Fuel's able to be aggressive, and that's what we're seeing happen, is they waited as long as possible. And that's why it was super good play by them. One thing I always talk about in Overwatch in general is that sometimes it's okay to give up, like, 70% of a point just to be able to win the team fight and take back map control, because map control is the most important thing, right?
With the damage fall off,
you know what I'm saying?
Being what it is against a far combo,
map control is like the biggest part of Overwatch. So if you give them up 70-80% of the point, but you can gain the map control, more than likely that cart will go back, 40%.
No one can see the
so
they're gonna get barraged very short. Oh no! Oh,
yeah.
I thought maybe
Transcendence, by the way.
Why not?
Cool.
Yeah.
Shock's able to touch the cart though, which is actually good because that gives them their next team fight.
Yep.
And as you can see, Shock has to switch off again. So.
Yeah. Now we have. Okay. Now we have. Wait. Ryan. Okay. Now we have Wrecking Ball. Just a lot of changes coming in here for the Shock.
Yes. The Kachu Delisi ball.
They had to make the swap.
Spoken of in hushed tones, Matthew.
Oh, he almost gets taken out. I mean, it's so dangerous.
So far,
shield going down the
pretty tough start for this map. But if they can take this fight, we could see a really good ultimate coming out of Choi right here.
Sparkle,
like a really good ultimate.
Mollified by Chukyoven. Fearless ducks out of the way there after getting the kill on.
Not able to get any kills with that, but they do buy some time. And I actually think Shock might be able to take this fight right here specifically. It really depends if they get a good res off. Violet might die. Actually, no. Violet will not die here unless there's a really good last second. Never mind. I don't even. You know what?
I love Violet.
Fearless is very good.
Oh, but this is a chance he put down here. So
Fearless is very good.
Self-destruct for Han being can remake. He can. All right. So Mercy.
See, I'm thinking about when I play Winston, and once I like,
they lost Fearless.
Once I boop somebody like once with the ultimate, like immediately, like once I like use the ultimate.
Nicely done, and yes, eventually
with Winston, I just
so the Shock. All right.
I have no idea where anybody goes, and that's it. So
gives him some renewed vigor.
Great job though. Shock is able to take that, and their alt pool, is actually really, really good right now. Shock is gonna have to play this a little bit aggressive though, but I don't think it can be. Super needs to be a little bit careful on being too aggressive because they have the Sombra sitting there waiting. Like if you look at where Sombra is, Sombra's just waiting for the ball to aggress in. But there we go, a very aggressive play. Very aggressive play. There we go.
Trying to play out of LOS there.
That's what we wanted to see. Now they'll probably lead in with Super's ultimate or a pulse bomb play because they know that Sombra will be waiting there for the play. I think we're gonna see Super lead in with his ultimate.
And this is where the Fuel really want to make their stand.
And there it is. This ultimate here is not about getting kills specifically. It's about buying that space around that part of the map to where the team can't really, where Dallas has to play on the outside and they can maybe isolate one or two. But Fuel does a really good nano onto the Pharah, and they're able to get a quick play there.
What can you do here with 30 seconds on the clock?
Both teams don't have ults except for Choi and... Actually, never mind. Shock has Choi and Violet's ult coming in. I do see... It looks like they are going to be able to have Valk on Fuel, and what we see is actually a smart play by Fuel. They go Zen, because they can sit in the back of spawn, they can spam, and get the Discord, which is going to make this really difficult for Super to be able to survive for a long period. This is really tough.
Well, here goes nothing for San Francisco. Super hit with the Discord orb early in the fight, and Sparkle's already made his way.
As you can see, the Discord is on Super. But Choi actually might be able to have this D.Va ult here. This D.Va ult by Choi could maybe get them the point. I'm not even kidding you. Because where this is at, if Choi times this correctly.
So the Shock had to be careful. Super getting pressured very hard right now, and that's the EMP for 4. Anto able to get some work done on Harmbin's mech. He removes that from the equation.
I think they can do this. I think Choi's just going to ult.
And now Ars can get more aggressive.
There it is. Able to get the D.Va. I think Shock gets this. Oh, but no, the Zen ult. The Zen ult with the Discord on the D.Va. They're going to be able to probably kill the McCree. Oh, wow. Wow.
The Shock are running out of options. And yeah, looks like they're out of time in a big way. Nicely done.
If Zen doesn't get out there in time, and once again, we kind of go back to... We kind of go back to what we were talking about with the hero swaps. Like, Fuel recognizes that the comp they were on just was not going to work right away, switches off, goes Zen last second, and honestly, Zen wins them the team fight. And Zen had to build that ultimate up really fast, so that increased damage, Zen, that was just really good hero swaps. And we saw it again where Fuel is not afraid to switch off the comp they're on based off of what the other teams run on, which is actually really cool in a sense, because a lot of time, we'll see it be very much like this is the meta, this is the comp we go with, and we're seeing Fuel go, this is kind of what we're going to run comp-wise, but we're going to make these slight adjustments to where the meta is more about the hero swaps with some of the same, composition. And yeah, so a really good defense by Fuel, but Shock is also very capable of a really good defense here also.
Going to be playing the Orisa with the Torb McCree.
I'm definitely curious to see how they run this. It wasn't really terribly played by Shock. Again, you have to remember that a lot of the time, in OWL, the way these teams play and the way they're practiced is that the teams have become very good at holding on defense or capping with 4 minutes. So Shock knows how they want to play. They have a pretty decent comp for what Fuel is running. The Torb turret on defense here, especially against the Pharah, can be really good. Obviously, they're running McCree. They're running the Orisa comp, which the Orisa comp is very good. The Orisa comp is designed to prevent the dive. It's basically the counter dive comp they want to run, because Orisa in general has so much survivability in team fights, especially with a lot of the changes that have happened with Orisa over the past, with not having a crit box and things like that in general. When using gold, it allows for Orisa to survive a lot of these team fights. So it's a good bunker comp. It's a very good bunker comp. Obviously, it needs to be played well, and you can't give them any free picks. And that's the most important thing. You just cannot give them free picks. And Super does get an early pick right away, and Ons gets a pick right away too. And if the comp, if they're able to play like that, they're going to win. Now, obviously, that's kind of like, if they get kills first and win the team fight, they're going to win. Well, yeah, that would probably make sense. Which is pretty much what I was going with there, is that they just can't always be down in every team fight, or having their McCree constantly be at 25 HP because they're not putting enough pressure on them. And we know it was a good play there. It was a good play.
+2. Hits pretty darn hard at close range.
Good play by Shock there. Obviously, that's the first fight. If they win this next fight, they're going to have really good ults, and they'll be able to hold the point for about 2 more minutes. But if they lose this fight, then it gets a little bit different, and then it gives Fuel a little bit of an opportunity to buy a lot of time on second. So that's really what needs to happen here. We will probably see a window coming out of Shock very soon, but we're also going to see Fielder use Nano on either Sparkle or Fearless here in about 5 seconds, if not sooner. And there it is. They do use their Nano right away. And that means Shock now has to rotate around. If they do the good rotation here, they're going to be able to pop their window. And if they can win this fight with window, they can just turn the fight around and win in general. But it really is going to come down to what happens in this next couple of picks. If they can get a couple picks here, they'll be fine. And it looks like Super does have gold up, so Super will be able to survive for quite a while. So they're going to be able to buy a little bit of time. Obviously, Fuel is committed to Mercy ultimate right now, so they're going to have a little bit of increased damage, which is why Shock is now going to counter with Bongo to be able to get that increased damage. Even if Bongo goes down right away, which it didn't, they're actually able to get a pick. That gives them a little bit more opportunity. Unfortunately for Super was pretty much in a spot where he couldn't get any kills, and it does look like Sparkle's able to get a kill, but no. He is able to get the kill, but able to trade, and it looks like Shock should be able to take this team fight. That was a really good play by Shock. The way they used their ultimates to counter was basically essentially the same thing we were talking about as hero swapping, where you switch off of heroes when it was just really good counters right there in general. Now Choi's obviously got to play to live here and not get DMA'd, by also being able to protect the support, but as long as they can get Super back here without Fuel making a play, I actually can see Shock winning this fight too, especially with them having a window again, and they know they're not going to have their Nano yet, but Twilight goes down again early, and that's kind of unfortunate. This actually might give an opportunity for Fuel to be able to take this. But it really depends on what they do, and they do get a pick on the Fielder. Fielder can get res, but if they have to go res, it's going to give Shock a little bit more opportunity to get a pick. And actually, Choi is able to get both healers, and Ons is able to get D.Va at least DMA'd. Actually, Fuel has to over-ult this a little bit. I think we'll see... Wow, that actually, honestly, if... Choi... Oh, I was just going to say, okay, whatever... Okay, if Shock wins this fight right here specifically... Choi's very happy with what just happened right there, so Choi was able to get the kill on Hanzo, got traded on immediately, which means that Choi was able to get back into mech without having to run off of the, like, basically run and go get killed to be able to reset that. Choi's able to get back, have Soup back, and able to get into the team fight before Fuel comes back, so he's very, very happy with that. We're probably going to see Fuel lead in with a Pharah, a Nano Pharah right now because they switched the ball. I don't think they're going to Nano the ball. I could be wrong, but they'll probably Nano the Pharah and be aggressive with Pharah. But we'll see. They might Nano the ball. I don't think they will. I think they'll Nano the Pharah.
Dragon strike there.
They've been doing that all game.
Exactly work, but they knock on
we'll see in a second, though.
That's gigantic.
There we go.
Yep. That might be able to turn this around.
Pretty much what I expected to happen there, because once they switch off of Winston, Pharah is really good, and there's a lot of damage, especially with the ultimate there. But for Shock, once again, that's the best first point you can ask for without full holding. So, by far the best thing you could do right there. Insanely good first hold. This is going to be able to buy them at least a minute on second point, which means that there's only going to be about 2.5 minutes on third if Fuel wins this. So they're very happy with that. And actually, Fuel was about to switch off, but they didn't. They actually ended up going back here. Oh, no, actually, Honda was going to do Arista to be able to switch back to D.Va to get back in mech. Shock's going to take an early fight here. They want to take an early fight. They know their comp is going to be better off playing close, but actually... They switched Zen, and I wouldn't doubt it if they don't go aggressive here now. Now that they saw the Zen switch, I think they're going to back away and play the corner, so that way Zen doesn't get much value. That was a smart play by Fuel. That was such a smart play. I don't think Shock recognized it right away, because they went to be aggressive and went, oh, wait a second, they have Zen now, and they had to back away. And as you've seen, whenever I play Orisa, when they have a Zen, I pretty much just get rolled right away. Because I generally just don't play with the best position when I play Orisa. And once you're discorded, you have to back away. So yeah, I mean, not a bad, not the best second point start, but I do think we'll see one more team fight here, especially with Choi having ultimate. It should give them an opportunity to at least buy some time on ultimate. Nero does this to be able to create space for the team. For the ultimate, you go, what the heck kind of ult is that? It's to buy space. It's all about space creation, and it's more of a defensive ult. I always say, look at Torb ultimate more like kind of like a support ult now than it is like an aggressive, like, get kills ultimate. Doesn't mean you won't get kills, but you use it kind of like a support ultimate.
And Choi gets desuited. Pulls up short of the mark. He's going to have to go for a resuit inside that Immortality field, and he gets it done, and so he shuts his barrage down. Maybe Sparkle could have been served by waiting a little bit longer to deploy that key ultimate, but we'll never know. He's brought back into the fight either way here, and the Fuel are just using sheer weight of numbers to push over the line.
Okay, and there we go, chat.
The
About 2.5 minutes left on the clock.
They have won it. 2:10 remains.
Yeah, they end up using the Transcendence to get...
Okay, so this is going to be the toughest part of third point for Shock. Let me explain why. They have no ultimates. They need to play aggressive here to be able to get ultimates or get a pick. They can try to play defensive too, which could work, but they're going to have two plays. Play aggressive and make a play right away at the corner here, or play back and hope they can build an ultimate in time. That's the two plays they have, and that's what they're going to go with. Anything else, they're probably just going to get rolled. Yep, and there we go. Exactly what they're doing. They're playing close. They need to buy time here. And Super gets a huge pick. Actually, that's a huge pick by Super.
Yeah, I don't know how he found that kill, considering that Jexa was ostensibly pocketing the far end. Was not on the ground.
Really good lamp by Violet.
Well.
They're going to get heals up, and there we go. That's exactly what Shock needed. They win this first team fight. I wouldn't even say win the first team fight. They stall the first team fight enough to be able to buy time to be able to win this. In my opinion, that was really good.
Jexa also has the Valkyrie, right? You know, Valkyrie, and you're going to have another Transcendence as Fielder is getting these so fast now.
Troy is Sonic, so he's actually giving information about where Violet and Twilight are set up right now. That may be set up the flank here for Fearless. Geronimo, as he plunges in. Violet has to go for the amplification matrix, but needs to be
that lamp timing.
That has to be an immortality.
That lamp timing, holy crap.
Licking his lips in anticipation now, knows that he has a real opportunity to end the map with a big ultimate right now. And then he goes, he's looking for the Baptiste, and he'll get Violet. That might just be enough.
Oh, no.
John Arns and Super's caught out of position. He can't get back to where the cart needs to be because the rockets don't stop coming in.
But wait, look at the trades. Twilight gets 2 picks and Nero gets 1. No, I think Shock might win this fight.
Upside the head. And getting rid of the Mercy again slows up the fuel.
Wow.
There's a chance here for the Shock to make
Twilight got 2 picks.
Yeah, absolutely. As they don't have enough to get across the line, Doha will play McCree now. And then Jexa the Brigitte, which do not see Doha on the McCree often. Sparkle now to the 76, so double hit scan with the Wrecking Ball here at the end of the map for the Dallas Fuel.
Okay, Super has ult. This actually, honestly, Shock has so many ults.
Fight for the Dallas Fuel to try and steal this map away. Slow start for them, but now this is where it all happens. Arns finds nothing there with the Deadeye. Nero Pulse Bomb. Looking for Fielder. Stick.
Ooh,
it's big.
the stick.
He gets rid of the Zenyatta, and that's what he was looking for. Recalls away to full health, and then gets Doha. What a moment for Nero, gutting the fuel of their key assets in a key fight. He'll make it a third dub by getting rid of Fearless, and Harmon has to reach.
And there we go.
Dismay as the Shock
1-1. Wow. See, chat?
Beat the fuel on this
like I said, both teams are good at being able to play this way. You know,
very interesting series. No, they definitely gave the Dallas Fuel trouble at times with that slow composition, but then both teams having to resort to the Wrecking Ball towards the end. San Francisco comes out on top, though. I feel like Nero towards the end really started making the plays on the Tracer, forcing a lot of swaps out of Dallas.
This is some fun Overwatch, no doubt about it. San Francisco again showing that it's
wow.
no mistake, no fluke.
What a map.
That's
what I was saying, though. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Both of these teams. This one promises to be another epic series.
These teams are really good at this.
To enjoy. So stay right there. You'd be crazy to go anywhere else right now. This has been insane stuff. Just a slight lead for San Francisco Shock on Numbani. You'll love to see it. Stick around. We'll be back with more.
All right. Not bad. Not bad. What a really, really good 2 maps here. What do you think so far? What do you think so far about this match so far, Flats? Anything you want to say, or?
Good morning, YouTube. I have got a goodie, and I mean a goodie.
I agree. This really has been a goodie. This has been one of the a really, really, really good start. Wow, 1-1. Do you have any predictions going forward about how this match is going to be, or what do you think?
Good morning, YouTube. I have got a goodie, and I mean a goodie for you today.
Thank you, Flats. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. We'll see what happens, and thank you for your input right there. We'll see how the rest of the matches go. All right, on to the third map. What map? Wait, what map is next? What map is next? What map do we have next? I think it's 2 CP, right? It should be 2 CP. Right? Or is it not? Oh, no, it's not 2 CP. 2 CP is the map after. Right? Oh, it should be 2 CP, right? I have no idea. I have no clue. We'll see in about a minute 30 here what map it is. We'll see. What map is it? It's payload? Oh, it's Rialto? Oh! What are the chances both teams full hold first point? What do you think the chances are both teams hold first point? Yeah, I mean, can we get to 500 likes before the next map? I don't know. We have, what, 40 seconds? It could be a possibility. Wait. I gotta get good at this, because obviously... Okay. Because obviously, no... Yeah, we can get the 500 likes before the next video, I think. For the next video. The next map. I don't know what I'm saying. All right. I don't know. Let's just... Listen. It's Rialto. We're about to watch Rialto. Let's go. I'm excited. Let's go.
We have been through the big task of narrowing down our Summer Showdown frag video contest entries to the top 5. And today is the last chance to vote for the winner. Head over to blizzard.wishpond.com/summer-showdown.
It's 1-to-1
for the winner.
Hope everybody's doing well today.
$1,000 grand prize. We always get fantastic.
Hope everybody's doing well today. Tomorrow we will have flats for the co-stream. He was busy today. It's his friend's birthday, so
I'm quite sure the countdown couple have many
he will not be on
of those
today.
moments.
He'll be here tomorrow for tomorrow's co-stream at...
On the first
I think it's at 4:30 tomorrow. I'm pretty sure. Let me check.
Definitely one with
I
plenty
think
of
it's
highlight
4:30.
clips in it. Very close on
me see.
Numbani here, and it's just the shock that come alive in the final moments. Nero just goes to the next level.
Yeah, I'll be using a ton of clips from this for my montage submission for the next tournament. You know, take some clips from this, throw some, you know, Skrillex on it, right? You know, some fast cut, some zooms in, zooms out. I've seen the montage game. You know, I think I can make one. Probably turn out like a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 montage.
Damn, bro, you had Machinima on speed dial back in the day. That made me up.
yeah. I was using there was this it is a long story. It's like the record gameplay in the past, where you had like the red, the white, the yellow, like little bits you had to put in. Like you can barely get 60 FPS while you're trying to record.
Yeah, you have to use
so
like
much easier
or
now.
something, and it was just
yeah.
Good days.
Make videos like Jaws.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
it's game time.
Throwback.
Here we go. So, Shock is staying with the same lineup, where Super is in on Orisa. Fuel is staying with the same lineup, where they run the dive comp. It's going to be a good match. I'm ready to see. I'm ready to see.
Uncovered, you know?
It was rough. I think there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot for us to work on. I think we're a team.
500. Let's go. There we go. See?
Right.
Did it.
Gotcha.
We did it. Now, Shock played really well there. Fuel played really well. I mean, honestly, both teams are just insanely good. We're just seeing some really good matchups. I mean, what can we say? We're getting some good Overwatch. We're getting some good Overwatch. So Ons is on Widow.
But at least I'm aware.
Okay, well, listen. 4 out of 6
That's a good
ain't
pick.
bad, but here we've got
a good pick.
12 nasty players ready to trade blows once more. We're on Rialto, of course, and San Francisco will be defending with a Widow Farah setup. So let's see how Ons keeps himself away. That's right, no substitutions. Good point, because the Shock at
So far, Ons hasn't really hasn't been able to get too much value on Widow on every time I've seen Ons go Widow. But it's mainly because of how Fuel is playing. But this is definitely a map where Ons can stay really far back. And as you saw, look at Fearless. Fearless went Wrecking Ball right away. Well, not right away, but Fearless is recognizing that they're just going to do the exact same thing they did on Koth. Fearless is going to go into the backline the whole time, get on Ons. Regardless if Ons is able to get a pick or not, or doesn't get killed, that value is now gone. But did you see what Shock did differently this time? On Koth, they were not peeling for Ons. Now, the moment they're seeing them on the backline, the whole team is coming back to help.
So many options
and that does, and still, they're able to get the kill.
Exactly where to put his rocket.
Basically,
no chance of escaping.
Basically, what's happening is Fuel is not going to let Ons pop off on Widow. They're going to constantly just dive Ons over and over again, and Fuel's going to have to make plays off. I mean, Shock is going to have to make plays off.
So much flexibility between these two supports of the Shock is.
It's just, it is Fuel strategy. The moment they see Ons on Widow, they just go Wrecking Ball. And they probably do that with just, in general. If they see Widow, they go Wrecking Ball. Because Wrecking Ball is so good against Widow. And if you can stay alive on ball while doing that, it can be a really big play. But you know what? Nero does have a decent flank right now, by the way. But yeah, and Thruckle recognizes that and kind of shuts that down. But this is still one of these team fights where there's a possibility that we might see Shock be able to hold it for a little bit, but no. Fuel has too many picks. Now, I guess, if you look at the bright side, Shock really didn't get many picks right there and do much for that whole time, and they still got 2 minutes off the clock. So, especially with what we just saw in Numbani, 2 minutes off the clock, it really isn't that bad right there. I mean, in my opinion.
Wrecking Ball composition
I think 2 minutes off the clock is pretty good, all things considered. If they win this first team fight, that will get another minute off the clock at least. Just because of how the map works, so.
A little bit more long range.
You know, we'll see.
Damage capabilities.
We will see.
And also, with Sparkle being the one who plays the Pharah, Doha has not really been playing the Tracer at all for this season. That's a Supercharger drop down for Super, which they haven't been able to use to any great effect yet. That's an Amp Matrix as well.
Odds is like, wait, did they do something to hit scan?
I'm surprised that flash didn't hit.
While I was gone?
Because whenever I'm playing, the moment that flash happens,
I don't know what you're talking about. My bullet's still hitting.
I'll be like 80 meters away and get stunned. Yeah, but it worked out.
You know, Ons is you're gonna have.
And there we go. By the way, it looks like they won the team fight, and about a minute has come off the clock.
Doha like weaken the street, but especially
by the next team fight, it'll be around 2:45, give or take, depending on when they engage this fight. Like as a team fight. By the time like their backline gets up there and all that, it'll be around 2:45, 2:50 maybe. And then if Shock wins that fight, we're gonna be under 2 minutes.
When it was like far Wrecking Ball puts a lot of pressure on like a stationary hit scan like a three.
Mental how
there we go.
Feels the need to zoom in. He just understands how his darts drop at longer distances.
This is a really good high noon.
Oh, there
yep.
it is. No way that Sparkle injects.
That's a very good high noon.
Not an option.
And you know what?
Gets taken down eventually by
Shock wins the fight.
But that Deadeye is
you know, Fuel is able to push the card a little bit, which is good. But once again, here we go. And Shock takes that fight. They're going to be able to get it under 2 minutes into the next team fight here. If they win this one, they're going to be in a really, really, really good spot. I wouldn't doubt it if we see Violet use a really early window here to buy a lot of value. I don't think they're going to wait to use window. I think a good window spot here will get them a good amount of value, but actually Super takes a ton of damage. Now they won't be able to use the window where they want to. Or maybe at least I don't think they will. They still might be able to use the window. But yeah, oh wow! Able to get a pick here, and I actually think Shock might just get this team fight.
Super's forced to back up there. Doesn't really
There we go.
San Francisco now. Okay, Alance is now.
Here we go.
They don't get any payload progress for hurting them.
And now let's talk about the most important part about that.
Okay, yeah.
Let's talk about the most important part about that whole team fight.
I'm feeling myself. I'm back.
They didn't use one ultimate to win that fight.
You are feeling gravity is.
Not one ultimate was used.
You just need to resist it.
Literally.
Close to another Deadeye here as well. So, look, this
not
is
one
a
ult.
wide open expanse.
They now have 6 ults. I don't know what ult they're going to use first.
Out in this
I mean, maybe. I want to say they're going to Valk soon, but they might just wait to counter Valk. So they'll wait till Fuel Valks and they'll Valk. So probably a Bongo is my guess, or a window first. Is what we'll see. Bongo or a window? Bongo a window?
Just no one will notice you. You just walk across the bridge under it. Okay, fearless, careful. Arn's starting to find those shots, and Hanmin is dealt
Oh,
with
the
there.
lamp!
Self-destructo will create the space, and
Oh, no!
I think that was fearless knocking Arns up into the blast.
They
He
didn't
got
use
far
any of
enough
the
away,
ults.
But fearless finishes the job. All right, Sparkle, don't let him do this to you, mate. Come on. You cannot allow this to happen. Gosh, he's hard.
What
to
is
hit.
going on?
Yeah, she is. I think what
So
happened
Shock is able to
Arns
save
was actually
4
going back
ults.
towards the immortality
So if
field,
Shock
and
wins
I
this
think
next fight, they
Fearless,
hold this point.
ended up destroying it or knocking him a little bit over
Huh.
like the radius in which it would cover, almost like when Doomfist knocks players up and out of it. But the immortality field was there for Arns. Didn't keep him alive.
24 seconds is the count. Nano boost
Oh,
on
this
Sparkle now.
nano
They
can
wanna
be
make
huge
sure
for them.
This card gets home safe. And getting rid of Arns is a darn good way to begin that. Super peppered there.
I don't know who's going to win this fight.
Sparkle
What a res.
raining those rockets down, but Nero's in a great position.
Oh, no.
Oh, he was too high.
Yeah.
Oh, his face.
He must have thought someone else was there with him.
No,
but
I think he thought he was low enough. I think he thought he was the one.
Oh,
contesting. He
no.
was low enough.
not an unreasonable thing to think.
Oh,
I mean, from
no.
his perspective, he looked rather low
looked
down.
pretty
It happens.
It's a
It
matter of
happens.
there. Yep. I mean, also, he did barrage the D.Va. Even without defense matrix, D.Va can still kill you in barrage. She just runs at you, so risky times. And
Still,
I mean,
really good defense by
it's gonna
Shock.
hurt, but listen, Nero literally won Numbani for this team.
Really good
so
defense by
if the guy
Shock.
gets a little bit fearless.
Yep.
Wait, what do you
See that?
you
See
play
now,
with
I
a wrecking ball
recognize
player,
that
which
wrecking
is
ball gameplay right there.
just
Except I
getting
probably
field,
would have
getting
hit
field.
3 or 4 walls instead
a
of
little bit of
1.
scouting.
So
Get the
See
gyro
what the-
controls on. Is he's
Yeah,
probably
making sure the gutters are
getting
clear, you know what I
getting
mean?
getting the switch controller plugged in. Get the
Getting the ring fit hula hoop set up, you know.
Look,
He's
I
ready
am
to
not
clown.
I am not the commissioner, but if I could make a rule and allow a player to play with gyro controls if they wanted to, I would be okay with it.
Oh,
Oof. Nero
I don't know
takes
who
two
would
hits
opt
there.
into that, but
Shock's pretty happy with this right now.
More
Win or
people
lose in this
lose,
team
actually.
fight, they basically have died on the cart, build up their ultimates for the next
Super
team
down there,
fight,
so the fuel are able
and have
to
got it
push
down to
on a
one
little
team
bit
fight
further
before
here.
overtime spawns.
Fuel
So let me
doesn't
explain
spend too
why
much
that's
time
key,
either.
because with
The
overtime
Nightfield starts
spawns,
things off fairly well.
Fuel would have had a little bit more
spend
space,
much
but
enough
now...
but that just
But
felt
now
like a
Shock's
really
able to
long
come out
fight,
of spawn
to just
here
get through the
and
choke
basically
where,
take the team fight exactly where they want to. And they were able to
Those
force
two
res
had,
zone.
yeah.
So.
Yeah, they kind of had the Shocker reeling a little bit. I think once they kind of like, not really called a C9, but didn't contest.
Wow. Just
I mean,
wow.
what are you supposed to do? Even Trick
Wow.
use
Yeah.
that defense matrix. Sparkle just doesn't care. Crucially, Trick didn't have rocket boosters, so he couldn't get up towards Sparkle, so all he could do was defend against the barrage while the DM lasted. The Fuel now hit a rhythm.
Wow.
Looking really good for them. Getting a lot of value
That
out of
DM
Sparkle,
usage by
investing in
Fuel
that
was
ability.
insane because Choi was using
Great
DM,
body grenade connection on Nero.
but
I mean,
but
that's
Fuel was
devastating
using their
for
DM on the Pharah,
And
so they
recall
couldn't
has
actually kill the
used their
Pharah.
rounds on
That
the
was
point.
just great gameplay.
We'll try and stay alive
That was
now.
just
Wrecking
insanely
Ball
good
is here.
gameplay.
Super makes his presence felt. And all still for as long as he can, so Doha needs to go forward here. This is not over. Super staying alive quite a long time, and Choi now is the next to step up. Good stall. Barrage here gets Doha. That's probably all for now. Sleep Dart connecting. Nero is eventually going to be removed. Hanmin refusing
Nope.
to shift from the card here, and that
Sad.
resurrect is bad for the Shock. They spent so much
right, it's all
on that
good.
one kill on Doha. Now Sparkle's barrage will seal the deal.
They go again.
No, with winning the last map and having momentum,
Not
right,
bad though.
getting
I mean, that
hold
was a
of the end,
really,
I
really,
feel like
really,
the Shock
really,
just
really
chucked
good
the
defense by
momentum
Shock.
in. I know this is one that
It honestly just came down to like 2 overtime team fights, which can be a pretty good sign for Shock
and then they're
on this
just,
map, but I'm really not
they're
sure. So
up in that fight. The card ends up rolling.
We'll see,
in.
though.
I believe it's Hanbin at the time who's able to get it on through.
we'll see though.
And then they allow the full map completion as not good there for San Francisco. I'd love to see like how close Nero was to actually being in that contesting
For a
range.
second chat.
Dallas really just had to muscle their way through. You saw that, Doha realizes that
We're
the hard zone was
chilling.
maybe not
We're
giving
vibing.
him the value he's looking for. Answers McCree, though, looked pretty potent, but I just my mind races back to the moment when we're on board with him and he's looking at a nano Pharah, and there's
alright, ready.
here's that like fight. So let's see how it went down.
So let's see. Did he think? I think he thinks he's low enough. Yeah.
I think he hit his boosters just
Okay.
above the card, so he didn't drop too far.
Alright.
The problem is, Matt, is that if
See what
you drop
happens
too
here.
low, it's
Boost
Okay.
back up and was gonna
Oh, there's
drop
no
down
way.
My opinion on
and
the
be
first
one
point.
who
there's no way you
contested, but
expect
no,
your
I mean,
Mercy to stand on the ground while
No,
they're
that's a-
your lifeline,
yeah, that's a position where you expect the Mercy to go up.
If
hard
Shock gets this
again,
point really
right?
fast, they're gonna do really well the whole
that
map.
angle. I
But But
the Widowmaker
Fuel has a really
really
good comp for engaging their team comp early.
Constantly, we haven't really seen
And they
it.
stayed on ball from the get-go, which means Ans is going to have to go
But
against the
there's,
Wrecking Ball right
somebody
away. I
can
wouldn't
have
doubt
those
if they make a
moments, it
quick
would be
hero
Ons.
swap. So.
I suppose here at least he has the option to try and create opportunities via flanks, and there it is. There,
Oh!
Sparkle just shrugs like, yeah, okay, it's Widowmaker.
Or Ans is going to get a huge pick right
In
away.
the game, that's what she does. This is pretty aggressive, all things considered, from Ans. He's playing ahead of his own Orisa shield. For perspective, and it might cost him. Doha really
What is going on?
indomitable in trying to chase Ans down, and he's constantly getting healed. Violet's keeping him alive, and Fearless is down, so now your ability to actually push
Wow.
this Widowmaker.
There we go.
You lost Jexa, so you
Woo!
better pack it up. Doha.
That's what we like to
his
see.
noggin goes a rolling.
Nice shots.
He's never seen a fight that he didn't like on the Widowmaker. He will just push on forward.
Yeah. This guy like Mayweather be, you know, any of the Paul brothers, like, sign me up. I'll take this one. You know it's money in the bank.
Hey, they pay money like that. I'll fight Floyd Mayweather.
Sign me up.
Woo!
No, Logan Paul, I'll
Ans.
take him.
That's incredible. Ans finds Doha there. Worth pointing out, that was without the recon visor at all.
This is a 4v4 right now. Shaw can actually take this fight. It's going to be a 4v3. Shaw can take this fight. It's going to really depend what happens in this next, like,
Super was on the
3
depart
seconds of
with
this
the
team
bomb,
fight, but...
and everybody else is like
Holy crap.
in the back with
And Choi does have ult.
Ons trying to keep him alive. Super now to the ball to get back.
Yeah, so Troy was basically going out there to see if there was going to be a
Still
free
alive.
kill and if an ultimate
I mean,
was worth it, but there was nothing really to
first
ult
point.
at that point.
Fearless is back in the. He's in the Shock spawn.
Yeah.
He's coming. He's gonna be coming into your screen in a sec.
I mean, Choi had to peel back. That's why they didn't have the presence on the card.
Ooh.
Oh, just super, but that's fine.
Ans has played really well so far in this first
This
point.
winner was getting value, Matthew. This is a little reminiscent of seeing Onigod sort of play.
You know what? I would say that was a
Yeah.
pretty good first point out of
He's
Shock.
making this work.
I would say
Fearless is
that
trying his best to get rid of him.
that was pretty solid.
I mean, Ans's back,
Now,
baby.
obviously, we saw
These fights,
Shock be able to hold
there-
4
there's
minutes,
players
basically, at this part of the map.
if
So
there
we're going
was
to see
like
Shock probably go for early
kind of
map
like
control
meta
here,
scenario
or at least
where
try to make sure that
it comes
they
down to
can't
a
get
lot
the
of,
high
like,
ground up here
individual decision
easily
making
and use their ultimate.
individual plays in certain moments. It feels like this is it because you kind of have like a fight kickoff like as a unit.
Ans
and
is
then it
an
kinda
insanely good
splits
Widow.
off into
Very good
multiple
Widow.
different dimensions, and directions, and like little fights. It's quite interesting. Also, it makes it kind of certain times, like as Fielder takes out Nero.
Playing aggressive.
Like, there's not like one real
Playing aggressive.
focal point.
I think Shock will probably disengage slightly here, and if Fuel overcommits to the fight, they'll go back into it.
It seems like there's a lot of dynamic things that happen from fight to fight.
Chaotic to say the least. Wrecking Ball there clears the high ground. The Shock can't really do anything with that. It's just about sending people into Ans's line of sight, I suppose. Fearless here. Oh, dear.
Oh!
He can't.
Ooh!
He tried to jump across to
Gets
another
the
boat, but
pick.
because
Nice
the
job by
blast-
Nero.
Nero quite.
And Diva's
I
DMAxed.
would be too, because that's speculative.
Wait.
That concussive blast. You don't necessarily expect much from that.
you
I'd be
don't expect
furious.
a knock in that position.
I
So that
actually
was
think,
a-
yeah,
a
Shock's going to take
Valkyrie
this.
That's just run out here for Jexa. Is he
I think Shock's going to take this point, unless
bring Doha.
something crazy happens. We actually know that pick, though.
Oh, okay.
That pick.
Sparkle there from out of nowhere.
Ooh, but a great counter ult.
Doesn't work out.
And they get the point with 4 minutes.
They're not getting value
on the
Sparkle.
clock.
He's
No.
pressured down by
So now
Alex,
this is
in a
definitely
big
going to be
way.
interesting because
Even-
we didn't
Matt,
really get to
Nero's
see
not
Shock
great
have to
on
hold
that,
too
right?
much the third point because there wasn't enough time and then overtime spawns happened,
Sightlines.
like after. But this is a really good push so far by Shock. They're definitely happy with this. I wouldn't doubt if they go into an Arista comp coming up, but they are going to stay in the ball comp for now.
Yeah, and I wonder if this is why.
My
the
guess,
Shock,
chat, is that Ons will probably be
on
switching on
defense
third
played some of
if they
the
don't
Oasis
win these
stuff,
team
a
fights
little
like
bit
easily.
slower.
And the only reason being is because there's
kind
just
of
not
like
many
this
sight
wrecking
lines
ball,
anymore that
ball,
where you can't be
aggressive
easily
style.
dove. But we'll see.
Isn't really
It
what
really
works
depends
on
if they win
defense.
this fight.
Jackson
Now,
looks like
obviously,
a
Ons got the
pop
pick
root
right
there,
there,
and then,
which is really
just
good.
takes
I'm
a
just saying if they
second
do
from
lose this
taking
team
out.
fight, I wouldn't doubt if they switch.
Ans finally removed there.
They switch to the team comp a little
Sparkle in
bit.
a decent position. Oh, that's a great shot onto Nero. That is an excellent
It's a pretty
connection.
well-placed Diva
Fuel
bomb
is
there. Actually able to get the
resurrected,
res
though.
onto
Sparkle
Nero,
definitely feels like
too.
his hard work is just
So,
seeped out
not too
through
bad.
his hands. That's the nature of the beast sometimes. The
I'm
Fuel
gonna actually might get
needs to
DMAxed
give
here.
himself a chance to regroup.
Has ultimate,
Trying to
so-
get out of that underpass. It's on the move again.
Ooh,
Ons
yep, and there we go.
looking to
Ons
pressure
switched.
Fearless down.
Ons
He's
did switch to
trying
McCree,
power
and
drive.
Yeah,
You
and I
know,
like
this
the
isn't too
McCree
bad.
here way
Really good
better
job by
than
Choi there to not
especially
get
on this
Diva
part
bond.
of the map.
Woo!
Really difficult, as that is Hanbin getting in the mech and immediately getting out of the mech.
Not much you can do
Somebody
there,
gonna
really.
kill him? Ons is just literally, I feel like he's just hit every button on his keyboard. He was just
Good
like,
job.
the baby Devo was in front of him,
Surely
the
there's
Tracer on the
something
side, the
here
Wrecking
that'll
Ball,
work.
Good
flash
job.
bang, and the hammer.
And see, like I said, they did make that
Just
switch.
something
It's just really hard
checks out
on
that
third point to
keyboard
have those
link,
sight
like,
lines.
I'm sure I've got
Because like I said, a lot of the time when you're playing Widow, you
this.
don't need to be hitting every single shot. It's about the sight lines, to where you can control that part of the map by just literally, because it's tough to get to you and make a play. But on third point, it's so hard to have those sight lines as Widow.
Hero, a little... Oh,
Really good
great
sleep right
okay,
there.
so that's unslept. I mean, yeah, Sparkle sees a barrage opportunity. You bet he'll take that.
I mean...
It's hard for him to get a McCree kill.
I think they take that, like...
You gotta make
I don't have to worry about
shots.
barrel now. I like
While
this
the Cowboy
ultimate by
snoozes.
choice.
Nice
They
good
might be able to
pass
get Sparkle
forward.
off of
That'll
that.
Get him out of the way of Trick Urban, self-destructed. The Fuel now have a bunch of
unlucky.
space to work with, and they're in control of the
I like that play too. But it does force out some ultimates for them. It does force some ults out of Dallas.
This puts some pressure on Nero. Right?
So this allows for...
Great
I think the only problem that Shock is going to run into in this next fight, though, is they're probably just going to nano Sparkle on this next team fight, which is going to be pretty tough.
What, minute 40 still on the clock?
In this part of the map. Choi's going to have to save DM. If Choi saves DM and Super gets a good backline pressure on them right now, I can see that actually going really well.
Done.
But it really depends.
And Matrix, Defense Matrix deployed to counter it. As you would expect, Nano Boost towards the Farah there, as Sparkle is going to end up turning the damage on himself.
That was
He
actually
doesn't
good
get the
DM usage.
suit
I don't know how
of
that didn't
for his
save them.
trouble. And Dallas, they can hold.
I think
here
Dallas
for
can hold right now.
Valkyrie, Twilight gets the resurrect there.
Yeah,
but
I think they're
gonna
gonna be able to hold right
for
here.
it, But Super gets
For this
dodged
part,
elsewhere.
not the whole third point.
There is
But
enough
just
healing,
this
though,
part
from the
right
back
here.
right
There's
corner.
just
Looks
too many
like
of them
Fielder
alive.
really sending those body grenades where they need to be. And so the Shock will have to try again.
Oh, and what do you do now? Twilight on the break. Are you going to change Super from the ball to like Narissa or something? No, they're going to go Reinhardt. So, McCree Sombra with a Rhine.
I've noticed the Nano Farah strat is so good. It's just so much increased damage.
The Farah.
Did you switch to Ryan here?
I mean, I
It
guess
makes sense a little bit.
Is the hack
Just-
target.
Just switch to Ryan?
I mean, the fact Fearless got out alive there is astounding.
Unbelievable.
Looks like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, this next
well,
fight
good
is
on him. Looks like the
important.
Valkyrie probably went a long
They
way
need to
there.
win this fight,
Self-destruct,
otherwise
Shock
they
were
lose the map.
reeling after that. And they got one
they
more
have a-
chance, Matthew.
They can do it.
And you're going to have a nano boost for
They can
Spark.
do it.
Here quickly, and maybe you get a Deadeye from Ants. Is the Deadeye a game winner? I don't know.
Well, the Wrecking Ball. Okay, Fielder can't deploy Nano Boost right now. He's manually hacked. He needs to stay alive. Okay, he does. He gets the Nano away. He's going to be accosted by Super up close.
Oh, good flash!
As soon as he touches the ground.
Good
and
flash!
His intended targets are all sheltering underneath.
That's a
him.
Diva Bomb!
Immortality.
Oh
Field.
my. Wait a
Still
second.
backcapping the
Wait a
cart.
second.
I mean, look at how far the cart's moved.
No, they're gonna get the point.
Nero back
They're gonna
there
get the
moving
point.
Cart.
Oh my, these
So
maps.
Nero was
Okay.
back here moving the
Oh
cart.
my.
Right?
Okay.
So Nero's back there moving the cart. We saw for a split second, he hacks Fielder, and then Fearless goes back to deal with him. But Nero actually gets Fearless so
This has been
low
such a
that he
close
had to roll
series.
away.
What the
So
heck?
The car continued to move because nobody else went back. And then everybody has to turn for the fuel and go back. And they all end up dying.
What in the
This
heck
the-
is going
this is a
on?
bonkers game.
Woo!
That's not what you kind of expected, how the game was going to end. But you do
I don't even know what to say.
for both teams.
Holy
so
crap.
Minute on the clock for everybody here as we go into extra innings.
I mean, not a bad result for San Francisco there. They were,
Wow.
you know, eyeing down like a 17-second one-fight scenario situation. I mean, it's just as easy to lose the map there as it is to secure a situation like this. So they'll take a sigh of relief. Have a look at this. This is in those dying moments here. Stunning stuff. Getting rid of Fielder there so easily is massive. Fielder keeps the Wrecking Ball
The third
alive.
one.
Great hack.
Or not the third one,
And, of
like
course,
the-
onto Mercy.
Yeah, and that
No one has the
what,
map
quick
yet.
Deadeye for the reload, right? The Deadeye cancel for the reload there. I believe he fire shots, rolls, then uses the clip, then quick Deadeyes, then
Alrighty.
cancels, gets a reload, and then shoots again. So it's pretty nifty McCree tech there from Monts. So we'll see.
Okay, so last time Shock's
They
first
don't
point
want
defense
defense,
wasn't the
so
best,
hard
wasn't the
defense,
worst. They held for 2 minutes, so did
versus
Fuel. They both
Farah
held for 2
Tracer
minutes.
offense is
We saw
Sparkle has to turn his
we
head,
saw
even though
Shock
he-
run a very similar combo, but it looks like
Yeah,
Shock
there's a
chooses to
danger
play a
of
little bit more
attacking
aggressive,
off.
which is going to be
Oh! Goodbye.
What a
This isn't
pick.
easy to play from this position as Widowmaker.
They play a lot more aggressive. So now, obviously, Fuel's going to have a little bit easier time of being able to dive up here, but the team's playing together. So the adjustment they made that time there was playing a little bit more with Ons. Last time we saw them basically take a while to go all the way to the back there and dive on. So the play, unless Fuel changes something up, their play is going to be to dive Ons right now. They're going to set up and dive all the way back here again. But there isn't as much time as last time. So if Shaw can just win this, like this one part of the team fight right here, that's it.
This is a wall, so they know exactly where
But
everybody's at.
they dive on.
I mean, he pile drove him straight up. He direct hit pile drove the Widowmaker, and that's what you need.
But Violet with a huge pick. Oh, but that's a good sleeve.
Well, he was there a moment ago. Sparkle got to descend upon him. And yeah, he's had to work.
I can't really tell who's going to win this fight.
Because of the presence of Widow. But now Widow's coming back from spawn. He needs to play on this side of the wall. And this is not guaranteed for the Fuel. They still need to win this next fight against an Orisa with the Amp Matrix. It's going to be Sparkle with the Nano Boost to make the difference.
Yeah, and Super tries to go forward, use some of his shield to negate some of this damage coming from the side.
It's gonna come. I think it's gonna come down to this Sparkle ultimate.
Is this a big battle going down?
I think if Sparkle gets a good ultimate here, they're gonna be able to take the fight. If Sparkle doesn't, I think Shock takes the fight. Unless there's a good pulse bomb by Doha, obviously.
Pulse bomb is here. Last time Violet won that matchup, so Doha is definitely a little wary. Great stick on the Diva.
I mean,
quickly Troy Hoban has to get himself.
Shock is happy with that. Because Troy's able to fly away, and there it is.
Gets explosive there at close quarters. Nero eventually going to be able to take him down. It is a Valk's Mercy in play now.
Good ult usage.
Can't
really do much about that. You just got to go again.
Can Dallas? They're going to keep going.
Oh yeah, and it's nice defense matrix usage from Hanbin there. I believe he eats a pulse bomb that comes out from Ons, so no opportunity for Ons to land a big pulse bomb as Fearless and wants this kill.
Okay.
Ult-wise,
Diva ult. I think the Diva ult here by Choi can actually win them this fight. What needs to happen, though, is I think Ons needs to take the 1v1 on point with Tracer soon, or at least get the Tracer to have to use cooldown so Tracer can't just hold the point.
Means that
if Tracer can't just hold the point, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing that fight happen right now.
These mines here, put some pressure on
that's what we're seeing.
If possible, who's closing in on an amplification matrix.
Yeah,
it's a self-destruct there. Oh, okay, nicely done. Hanbin takes a ton of damage. He's pile drove before he can get away from the blast proper. But Sparkle's able to take down Troy.
That was a really good pile drive by
Super.
Super.
Out of mech for that self-destruct itself. Violet loses this battle against Doha. A sigh of relief, I'm sure, from the Dallas Tracer player. And he gets rezzed up, but he's lacking teammates, and this card ain't done rolling yet.
And the worst part about this for the Shock is, like, they're not all dying at once, right? Like, you have
the OT
like,
spawns
two
make it difficult.
Die, we have a little bit of a fight go on, then 2 players die. Like, and now to get a full fight is 6, you're going to have to basically allow this card to almost get to the second checkpoint.
Hanbin needs to get out alive. Body block there, I think, by Super. Not able to get away, so he's going to lose his mech. But he got arms for his travels, and
there we go.
There it is, off the cart.
You know what? Very winnable. Let me explain why.
They made great progress there, but
overtime spawns.
If they could have gotten
so Dallas Fuel only has a minute 2 on defense, while Shock has a minute to attack. But
maybe a little bit more. But
overtime spawns. Overtime spawns are very key, which usually means it's going to be only about one team fight per point, maybe 2, right? This could be a really, really good opportunity for Shock to be able to take this.
And even like even at the beginning, I think, right? Like playing with the Widowmaker isn't a surefire thing, right? You're relying on a lot of picks. Your support's got to keep the Widow up as like the
This is good. This is good.
Dives. This is a much safe. We don't know obviously if this is what they're going to play, but this is a much safer look with the McCree in the mix. Dallas bringing in the Sombra is interesting because of where they push the cart, right? There's not a huge pressure to hold on before this point A.
Here we go.
So
I'm ready.
You can play the Sombra and play the long game. If you get an EMP, they're going to have to invest to San Francisco in every single fight like it's the last one. You just hold on to like a big combo, like a EMP barrage, and the game's kind of over, right?
Here we go.
And you have that time to work with, considering how far you push the card.
1.
No rush for the Fuel. San Francisco
Come on.
have 1 minute before
Come on.
overtime. Let's see how
go
far
Shock.
they can get. 2 shots already from
Let's
Fuel.
go Shock.
Exchange.
Got this.
And we'll spot Fearless out there on the Wrecking Ball. He backs away. And yeah, Doha in the back line. 17% towards that EMP, which, like Matt said, he doesn't need for this first checkpoint necessarily. See what he can get done. On arguably a signature pick of his.
Wait.
No immortality field available right now. That could be nasty, but the fuel play a little safe, and Doha can get out alive.
Yeah, he's just farming EMP. They farm EMP.
Ooh, that was a really good flash.
Nano, right?
Wait a
They're in
second.
Great spot is they get a hack on the super.
I think Shock might be able to take this first fight, though.
Jeez, Hanbi.
That flash alone
Gives up
bought
his
so
men
much
for that
pressure
kill
and
there.
damage.
But gets rid of the McCree. Fearless is still
Yeah, they're
effective.
gonna win this
Fielder
first fight.
is not. And so the Fuel might have to give up this ground here. Now, I'd hate to see Doha sort of try and use an EMP right now in a short-handed fight and end up wasting it.
Oh,
I think the
wow.
Fuel definitely really need to be patient here, Matt.
Well, let's see if they even try and play a contest here at the first checkpoint. It looks like with the position of Fearless that they will, and they're going to have an EMP to use. That's Deadeye with the EMP, and the EMP connects with 3.
Finally got 8 Matrix, though, and he got an immortality.
Oh, no.
No, it's not.
Oh,
Dallas
no.
Fuel come up with the right goods. They get the chemical reaction they were looking for. And that will be the map. Rialto belongs to Dallas.
Oh, and somebody's on the cart there at the end.
I think Shock wins that if they're on the
Duo had
cart.
Actually, just gotten 2, I believe, with a barrage. It's just they don't have anybody who's on the cart to keep it going.
Damn, what another
Dallas,
good map,
big
though.
win
These
here.
maps
I feel
are
like
so
their overtime
close.
Push was really the thing that broke San Francisco.
Definitely some highlights for San Francisco, though. But Sparkle has tied a record for final blows on Rialto with 20.
These maps are so close.
You know, he had 16 final blows per 10 minutes on Farah coming in to this series. He's probably the West's best Farah pilot.
Holy crap.
And a big part of their victory there. Arns is a bright spot on the...
All right, well, on to the next map.
Scan, but maybe... If
On to the next map, chat.
Join them might be the answer here
Damn.
for the San Francisco Shock. They've got another map to try, so let's see what they come up with
Holy
when we come
crap.
back and see how it goes.
I still think Shock can do this.
Coca-Cola is the
I still think
official
Shock can do this.
refreshment of the Overwatch League.
They can still do this. Two CPs next, right? We got Hanamura. Ooh. It's like... The thing is that, just to give you an idea, Nero actually got 2 kills at the end there, and then they just got a res, I think, too. I think they would have been able to win that fight. So it's not the point of like, they should have won that fight. It's more like they're not getting destroyed. They're not getting rolled right now. They're just it's just coming down to like one team fight. Shock can do this. Shock can do this. 100%. 100%. This has been a really good series. Holy crap. It's been a really good series. 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. I'm ready. Come on. Come on, Shock. Oh, I think that one like when it comes to like, you gotta remember with team comps, right? Someone's asking about like team comps. The thing is that the Arista comp they're running is still good, right? You have to remember that. Like, the Arista comp they run is still good. If they play the ball comp, there's no guarantee that the ball comp is going to be able to do the same thing that Dallas's ball comp is doing, right? the ball comp has been working in certain scenarios, but a lot of time it's based off of the map and the location of where everything is. You gotta remember, this series is really close, and the teams have just gotten a lot better in general. So we don't want to have as many, we don't see as many maps where there's like you know, just 3-0s happening. I mean, for example, I'm pretty sure Paris 3-2 Dallas yesterday. Teams have gotten a lot better, so it really comes down to these team fights. Because if we think about it, right? If we think about these team fights, for example, on Koth, it came down to the last team fight. On Numbani, it came down to the last team fight. On Rialto, it came down to essentially the last team fight, maybe the second to last team fight, because if they win the fight there with that OT spawn, the next team fight pretty much guarantees they're going to be able to have the map control and win that point if they do win the next fight. So it's not like they're just getting rolled, and it's not really a comp thing. It's more like it just comes down to the last team fight. Right at the end there, if you look at the kill feed, and we didn't see it, right? Nero actually got 2 kills, and Shock was able to have numbers there. The problem is that if you look, when Shock was off the point for half of a second, and overtime spawns were going really fast, so they lost the point. But if they touch the point, did they win that fight? And then next thing you know, it could be 2-1 Shock. So it's not like it's really a comp thing right now. It's more like it's just coming down to one last team fight. It's literally just one last team fight. So there are definitely definitely 3-0s happening though, for sure. That also. But I do think at least in my opinion, we're seeing the stand-ins, and we're seeing just a lot of closer matches. We're not seeing like just. And this one is no different, right? I don't know how to explain it. Like at least I mean maybe I'm, you know, but like the way I see it is that a lot of the teams from like, especially the really good teams right now, we're seeing a lot closer matches than we used to see. A lot of closer matches.
Up here, and it might be the difference maker because San Francisco, that makes force of map 5. Got to win this next.
There's still going to be 3-0s.
Yeah, and at least so far, it looks like no.
There's still definitely going to be 3-0s.
Shock that would come in. So you still have Super in the mix. You know, Twilight and Violet. I expect that to be like the support lineup for this team with the meta currently. And then we haven't seen Glister today. So seems like Onsen and Nero are the answers in terms of damage dealers. Looks like we have the Dallas Fuel ready. The Shock, you know, getting seeded now, and then we'll be able to get back in the game.
We'll see what happens.
I think
on to CP.
You know, I would say like it's just going to be maybe like a Riss and Ryan, but we've seen him play the Wrecking Ball, play quite well on it.
Yeah. He's looked. I think we have 2 players here that have had to pick up Wrecking Ball, have had to become more comfortable with it. Right, these 2 players have really impressed a lot of onlookers on different main tanks. Right, and I think it was Dan in an interview said. You know, I think
okay, so Hanamura.
There aren't that many great ball players in the West. That's just a fact that we haven't come.
Shock can do this.
There right now, and we have 2 teams.
What a series, by the way. Real talk, this series has been insanely good.
Of the Western region, we're getting some good ball play already in a meta that's absolutely calling for it. Some teams refusing to go that way and trying to make it work with Arissa, even Ryan to some degree, but. Both Fearless and Super have been trying both
when it comes to hero bans,
to make it happen. And
I think like you mentioned, Matt, I think Shock is still able to play a lot of the heroes they want to play in these team comps.
They're going after
but once again, Fuel's a really good team, Shock's a really good team. So
and I think the answer for a team
this has actually been pretty interesting to watch. From like the team fights. They've been pretty like intense team fights. Every team fight feels like
you're gonna probably need it.
It's
in terms of playoffs.
I don't know how to explain it. Like there's a lot of things happening at once, where like you're having like multiple team fights happen. If that makes any sense, like we have the backline pressure, and then you have like the frontline battle, and you're seeing like the Pharahs getting map control on the side, and then the Pharahs are taking duels, but then one of the Pharahs is like, oh, I have to go help, so they disengage from the team fight, right? So they disengage from the team fight, and the other Pharah is like behind now, and they just all come together for like this one big team fight, but it's really cool because they take so many different angles. It's been very, very, very interesting to watch.
Hawaii play against the East teams who are playing Wrecking Ball and try and counter it, and it just not work, right?
All right,
we just see now
here we go. Risicomp is pretty good on defense here. I think it can work really well. But we'll see. We'll see.
Here we go. Heading over towards Hanamura. And the Wrecking Ball for Fearless here. So what you alluded to is definitely correct. And also, I think, was it Young who mentioned...
Torb comp makes sense here. Torb is really good on Hanamura. It's really going to come down to the position that Dallas takes. If their DPS get really good positioning, then Dallas will be able to take first point pretty easily. If they can't get good positioning because they're able to deny that part of the map, then I think Shock will be able to hold for at least 2.5 minutes, and then it will come down to ult use. So far, yeah, it looks like yeah, that was
respect, dude. These guys have just. I mean, these are real gamers.
The webcam froze.
All right, Fearless gets caught there. I mean, it's a Brig stun, a Creep Flash, and Torbjorn there to really put the rivet in the.
Good start. Okay, as I say that, that's not good.
So that Dexter's Laboratory episode where he learns French and all he can say is omelette du fromage, but that's literally all he can say. But he's really good at it. That's, you know, that's these guys. That's Arns right now. He just
Violet might make it back in time here. If Choi does a good job of staying alive, but on the point, so Choi went to point there, was able to deny the first tick initially. It doesn't mean that they'll be able to get, they won't get the first tick, but what Choi's doing is buying them enough time to where the second tick, well, they'll have Violet back in time. But Dallas recognizes that, and yeah, Dallas didn't get the point. And
put him in a contestable scenario. So
yeah, a little bit better than.
That allows a
little bit better than it could have been, but I mean, it could have been worse of a first point.
So aggressive on the far, you know, always using the
definitely not the best first point.
Punks to get into a position right up in somebody's face.
Once Violet got picked there,
away from the ball and placed the win
basically that allowed for Fuel to wait a second to have 6, and then they just took the team fight. There was really nothing Shock could do at that point either, except hope for some really crazy picks. But Fuel wasn't gonna let that happen.
Job to deal with.
Good news is,
but you have a dragon to knock players
good news, they built a lot of their ults for Shock. So if Shock's able to win this first team fight, that will buy them probably at least a minute and a half based off of the next team fight.
Core on the point here from San Francisco.
But we'll see.
On the high ground, though.
We'll see what happens. Really good pick by Ons.
Ons is able to get rid of Jexer.
Insanely good pick.
A ton of damage trying to get back across the goo.
And there you go. They won the team fight. It wasn't like one of those like crazy team fights though, where they buy a bunch of time. They only got one pick, so Fuel's able to wait here and then come back. They'll be able to get their Mercy, and then it'll be an even team fight. They do switch to Widow, which Widow can work really well here on this map. They can play really far back. But
Arn's playing forward here. We've seen Widow play.
We shall see.
Where you play a long way forward and you get that high ground control after the attackers commit to the point, but Ons doesn't get anything. Pressure the shield.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Fearless is definitely going to dive
yep.
Ons, or at least make it so Ons can't do anything. That's what Fearless does. Goes to the point. I don't think we'll be able to get a tick, but they're going to be able to nano. Actually, they might nano Sparkle. They're going to nano Sparkle. 100%. They just use Lamp. Here it comes. Wait, never mind. They nanoed Winston, which actually is just as good.
Absolutely. Super down early here.
Yeah.
Sparkle should be able to punish the Torb. Nero very careful to try and stay alive. And yeah, Violet is in his spawn and still dies to the rocket somehow.
Good off by Choi.
Sparkle.
Ooh.
He thought he was okay.
He's able to force out the res with that too.
Like far enough away from the blast, but he wasn't.
That's really good for them.
Though, Dragon Strike on the
now Choi's gonna get demexed, but there is Torbolt on point, and the turret is still alive.
So now, which is perfect for Sparkle. He gets a lot of splash damage, but only.
This isn't too bad. Twilight is purple right now though, able to survive. There's a chance Shock can still delay this point, but it really depends how long Choi can survive on point, because Super's gonna have to back off point in a second.
Now Choi will get on. Twilight getting some healing.
Oh wow! What a nano!
It's gonna go on to Sparkle. Nice shots there.
What the?
The second one is both tanks up on the high ground for the Shock, gonna make their way back to contest.
And this is what you've got to fear if you go up against the Dallas Fuel. Their far play may be unmatched in the West as far as we know. Choi been taken down. Here's that Primal Rage again for Fearless. It's been a slow cap just because of how long Dallas have spent not on the point. And Super now trying to compound that issue. He's able to get away from the blast, gets a Biotic Grenade as well, and a Nano Boost. So this stall ain't over.
I think they got this.
Oh,
I think they're actually gonna.
Oh, hang your heads, Dallas Fuel. You are pushed off the point.
Oh.
Go on.
The Sparkle probably has 42 limbs right there, and they still didn't get the point. You have got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me.
This is pretty good. It could be pretty tough to break when you have all these players just kind of skating out of the spawn. All it takes is, you know, Choi to go to the high ground, deal with Fielder, and that's about it, right? You lose the Ana, you have players coming back off the spawn. Eventually, you're just going to lose the HP game there. You lose Sparkle. once was looking really good for the Dallas Fuel.
Wow.
Could end up being a hold for the Shock.
Woo!
1 minute, 37 seconds left. Dallas want to end the series here. They don't want to take the risk of going to control because that was just wacky.
Oh.
They have 2 ticks, in fairness.
What is this?
This is definitely a map that San Francisco have liked in the past. It's pretty favorable for them.
Okay, thank you, OBS.
Super back to the high ground now. We'll see Dallas sort of regroup around this Valkyrie playfield. It probably can build Nano in this fight, if not the next. Surely Nero's not looking for an airborne pick there. It's actually answer goes down to Doha. So things are a little bit dicey here for San Francisco. Nero's not in the fight right now either. Minefield. Doha just peppering right now. Happy to keep those players from the Shock under his thumb for the most part. And Nero's gone down. So not only was he not in the fight to start with, he comes late, gets picked off.
I can't believe we're almost on a last team fight right now.
This Deadeye not
Like, I think I can't tell who's gonna win this fight, but I think if
and there's a chance here for the Shock to stall this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Shock
Ball
wins
is
this fight.
playing. Here they come again, Matt.
and honestly,
They will. I mean,
look at the
Jordan
ultimates.
gets desperate
Unless
now.
Sparkle gets a really good Pharah
Twilight
ultimate, and Sparkle
keeps
has.
him alive,
Violet's
but
gonna have Brigo.
Also, gives him a little bit of
Violet's gonna have Brigo. I think Shock can
May
hold
not
this.
have even needed it to hold this point. 27 seconds left. Nada here for the Dallas Fuel. So Aunt's now switching
Like-
between the Widow and the McCree. Now going to go with the Widow here at the end, just looking for this pick-off. They know where Sparkle's been coming from all the time.
And Arndt probably feels like he knows the Fuel have to commit to the point, so he has a chance to wrap around
Huh?
and have the sick Widow position. Jules
As long as Violet stays alive off the initial part of that ultimate, they'll be fine.
Yep.
Yep.
Goes here. Primal Range Winston on the point, stunned up, hit with a body grenade, and aggressive. What? He can't get away.
Oh
Chased by
my.
Nero. Not a great start here for the Fuel in a very important fight. Their chances of finishing the map have just gone begging. Sparkle might be resurrected, but Harmon is now down, and Jackson gets rained on by Super. The pile driver was there, and the mines followed up.
Wow.
That will be the Shock holding here on
Can you
point B.
believe Shock
Yeah,
just
you
held
see why
that?
2CP can be pretty brutal at
Can
times.
you believe that? Now,
92%.
once
for
again,
the
it can be
Dallas
very
Fuel.
difficult to
They
attack.
but
So Shock still needs to
They
cap
looked
this,
like
but you know
really
what?
good for a while.
Shock
They're
has now
gonna be
made it so
take
they
that.
have an
They had
opportunity
moved
just
on
to
that
win this
point.
map
They
without having to
haven't even
play
got the tick.
defense the second time.
So many kills needed.
All Shock needs to do, play smart,
Point
and then actually cap the point and cap it. Great insight by me right there. All they need to do to win this map is to cap both points.
You basically have to win.
So that's it. That's all they gotta do.
Team fights cleanly in a row.
Just great.
See what Dallas decides to do on defense. I actually think they'll probably end up playing like a Winston comp because, I don't think you necessarily would see them play the ball here. They played Winston on their offense towards the end. Yeah, it'll be Winston comp. And you don't see Fearless play any Orisa. So Winston has to be the logical choice here for the Dallas Fuel.
Let's
I
go.
feel like he did in some stage one.
Let's go.
The Shock? Yeah, it was like Sparkle's playing Genji. It was
All they gotta do to win here is just win.
He doesn't play it off.
Havana. It was on Havana.
That's it. That's all I gotta do.
I mean, also, you can't play... I mean, playing ball here on defense without the Sigma is probably not advisable either. You really need that
You
offense.
give up the entire choke. You'd give
Here we
up the
go, I'm
entire
ready.
choke With the ball, so you can't afford to do that.
I'm excited.
You don't play the Orisa, so
They're running the Rhine
you
comp?
have to play Winston here. Play the choke.
Okay. I'm curious to see how this
Even
goes.
knowing this, so to choose Reinhardt into this
It could
matchup.
go well.
Given the Shock, pretty good protective radius. Allows them to play fairly compact. Doha is still going to be an issue, and Sparkle, if he can work from the edges like that, well, it still won't be easy for his Rhine comp to get where it needs to be.
No. I mean,
Oh
without
my,
Lucio,
come on,
it's
you can
still
stay
very
alive,
difficult.
Twilight. Oh
Lucio
my.
does have Nero on the point.
And now Twilight's gonna be able to get the team up.
Trying to get eight.
Oh, never mind.
I like that from Sparkle. He knows. I mean, Fearless calls the dive, and he conks himself straight back into position. So, Fearless has the whole team with him when he wants to split the switch and go aggressive.
All right, not the best start, but
And that'll buy enough time for Jexa to return as well.
I was gonna say,
Ability to Guardian Angel.
I wouldn't doubt it if Shock makes the switch to ball or something else because they're not able to get through the choke that the
Super
way
has the ball now.
with the way Fuel is playing, but now they can get behind them. And if you just saw Super and Nero are already in left side, they're going to be able to get map control now. And what's going to happen is Fuel's going to play aggressive on the front line now. And if Dallas can survive, if Fuel can survive this, or Dallas can, if Shock can survive this, they're going to win the team fight. Is what I'm saying.
Over the top he goes.
Okay, so yeah, Shock didn't win that team fight. They did get a tick though.
quickly tasted the
But that's what's happening right now. Is basically Super and Nero are going to keep going to the back line. And then Fuel wants to play close and be aggressive, so if they can survive that initial team fight, then Shock will win this fight. They will win the fight if they can survive this. But they're going to be aggressive here with Fearless's ultimate. And actually, it looks like Dallas has to fall back a little bit.
And you kind of rely on that. It's going to be free picks for Sparkle consistently.
And that's the
unlucky.
Now Field is not in the mix right now, so
they get a second tick.
They
get a second tick.
Here. Jackson will provide what healing he can, and that's some nice little techers to get out of the way to self-destruct here. This is extremely clean from the Dallas Field, who on defense have actually looked a little bit the opposite, right? Looked a little bit messy. Numbani, I bring as an example there. Numbani first, they were a little bit loosey-goosey.
I think Shock might be able to take this fight.
Shokoban does well to get that kill on Jaxer, and well,
yeah, no, Shock has this fight. What a turnaround there. And look at the ultimates that Shock has. They have Brig ultimate and Ball ult. Brig ult alone can be really good here.
You hit him with the question mark in
wow.
Unreal.
Wow.
Who was that for, I wonder?
I don't know.
Whoever it is probably shaking right now.
They lost the point as well.
Yeah.
4 minutes.
Right, pop that up.
4 minutes.
Fearless play the high ground.
And Fuel's going to maybe Valk in?
Okay.
No, they're probably going to save Valk to delay the point if they have to. Because Valk can be really good for delaying second point.
Wrecking ball composition with Arns.
They might just build Nano.
Looking for some nice vantage here on the high ground.
Yeah, they did. Both teams are building Nano. There it is.
With the way these things go on Hanamura, you know, 4 minutes goes down to 250 quick on the clock. This is a minefield.
Good flash!
Oh, that's classy stuff from us.
Wait!
What are you doing? Dallas!
Oh my, we're on the map 5!
You said it's not a lot of time, but
we're on the map 5!
Well, I'd also expect them to touch the point. I mean, come on. Get on the point.
Oh, chat, they could have easily touched the point there. I'm laughing so hard. Can we get an LOL in the chat?
Oh, man.
Woo!
That was a mess.
Go on.
I'm laughing so hard.
That was a mess. That's no bueno.
Map 5!
5 minutes on the clock. Decent situation in the fight.
All I had to do
is trying to dive them at 3.
They could have stalled it out for so long.
Yeah, by the way, this is against a team who stalled with a wrecking ball with 50 HP.
Woo!
That's what the shock did to them.
Right, they stalled for like 3 minutes. I mean, hey, the shock force is 50.
On to the 5th map.
Okay, you know what?
Here we go.
We'll see you on the other side.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
All right, chat. Are we ready? Map 5. Map 5. Let's go. What a match today's been, huh? We're chilling, chat. I think map 5 is... Was it Lijiang? I think. What a good map, though. Holy crap. What a good map. All right. So, the last cost that we saw, just so you know, the reason why, the last cost, the reason why we didn't, I mean, if you didn't see the first cost map, Shock last in the last team fight. So it would only be it would only be perfect right now if Shock is able to win on the last team fight of this one to win the series. And the reason why Flats isn't here today is because Flats is, he is currently, it's his friend's birthday. It's his friend's birthday. It's his friend's last day there, so, the hanging out with his friend. So he'll be on tomorrow for tomorrow's co-stream at 4:30. I'm ready. Here we go. Hope everybody's been enjoying the co-stream today. Hope everybody's been having a great day. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. I hope y'all are doing well. On to the last map. Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready. Here we go. Here we go.
Starts with a question mark in the chat from Fearless, and then all hell.
I can't believe they didn't go onto the point here. They didn't go onto the point.
Let it speak for itself. Wow, it's pretty good at
Look at it. Nobody went on the point.
Yeah. It was like the parting of the sea.
I mean, the point is lava?
There's nobody.
Nobody went on the point.
I mean, like, you watch this again, and you know they have the players drop down, right? This is like kind of that's like the POV that we see. Nope. 3 players on the point get 1 tick. There's
That minefield is insane from Super.
I see what happened, by the way,
thing
chat.
that actually probably.
So do you know what happened right there?
Is early in the replay.
I just saw.
Hanbin gets
So Fearless.
de-mech'd.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hanbin got
Making
demech'd and went back to
Fearless so
spawn to
that
switch.
He has mech to go contest. Hanbin has to go back to the spawn.
Ran back to spawn to
ball,
switch.
And then come out.
Yep.
And Fearless was like jumping up at the time.
So because Fearless jumped in, it was
I
like
feel
perfect
that
timing.
I'm just trying to make an excuse for 4 people standing behind.
Because even if anybody else in the team touches there, Dallas is gonna lose the fight.
There was nobody dead
So the
for
tanks
Dallas
have to
there,
touch
right?
there, but like it was
There's nobody dead.
it was just like the
No,
most ridiculous timing.
There isn't, but that minefield means that no one in the background.
Hanbin wasn't switching to ball
and also
initially.
getting pushed on the high ground,
Hanbin
so-
was
Yeah,
switching
look,
to.
It's pretty bad.
Because so basically
We have
something you can
subs
do
like-
is when you get demech'd as
Oasis
Diva
out.
and you're not even close to ult charge. Let's say that you're at 12% of ult. I mean, it technically doesn't even matter if you need to be in the team fight.
We were talking
You
about
can run
how,
back to spawn,
we
switch to a
haven't
different
seen,
hero,
Glister
and then
do
switch
that kind
Diva.
of like,
But then they
like
realized that
Hanamura,
nobody was
now
going to be on the
Glister.
point, so Hanbin
I-
quickly went ball to try to get
I
back.
always think this is
That's
such
why
a
they did that. So
difficult
a lot of the
position to put a
time,
player in.
and I'll do it on Diva all the
They
time,
also
if
have
I
been
just
doing
feel like
such
I
a
can't
small
get my
game.
suit back in time, I'll go back to spawn, I'll give up like the 12% ult charge, and then switch to like, I don't know, Orisa, and then switch back to Diva, and then I have my mech back.
Just get in there and start, dunking on people. I feel like it's a really difficult spot. Smurf coming in to play the
Glister is in for the 5th map.
No, that's something we see.
So this is Glister's first
I
match.
feel like it's way harder to get like in the flow
Or map of the day,
game,
that is. Sorry, not
or
first
the
match.
energy
First map of the
game
day.
state as it
And
is,
Glister has been
especially
playing
this
fairly
late in
well.
the series.
So this is they made a change.
You really have to
Smurf
shake
is
yourself
in.
awake here. Not that
Here
you've
we
extended,
go.
but just you've been
Map
exerting
5.
A ton of energy and
Map
the
5.
momentum you feel like you've been building up over the course of the series. If you're Dallas,
Let's go.
like that is a gut punch to lose that last map in some way. So you have to, frankly, you have to manufacture some sort of energy, or failing that, some form of stimulation that gets you, hungry again and back in a position to win the game. How much more does Sparkle have to do? That's another question. This fire performance has been one of the most electrifying we've seen in the West so far. Lijiang Tower is where it all ends here. Dallas Fuel, San
I'm ready.
Francisco. It's a 5-map special.
Here we
Maybe
go.
not in the way you would have expected to, but we have a decider one way or another.
And I think maybe the substitution for Glister here is to have him play that Tracer.
Huge
as,
pick.
Hero gets a knock off the map on
That is
Fielder to kick
about the
things off.
best start you can hope
But
for.
we
They
know
can't res
Blizzard will
that.
be a very good tracer. You wouldn't say
Huge pick.
Ox is like tracers, like
I do think Dallas will be able to fight the point before Shock gets it, but I mean, you can't ask for a better start. Well, I mean, you could. They could kill the whole team and then get the point, but that's a good start.
Here for that final map.
Glister and Nero, definitely a decent duo. Smurf pile drives on in there. They're able to force Fearless away. He's also hit with the body grenades. We didn't want to be under any scrutiny anyway. And that little play, the Bionades, what sets this up for a early Shock take.
Yeah, I mean, it's also just not having Fielder at the beginning, right? So they can't cross the bridge. They can't be quite aggressive without their Ana.
Glister doesn't want to give up this ledge. He wants easy access. I have to think to Fielder, who's sat in White Room right now. Sparkle has to be patient as well. He needs to, you know, split his attention. He knows Jexa just took a big hit because he can obviously see it on his screen. So attention.
Oh!
Violet just gets up and he's
Whoa! Good trade though.
Sparkle, though.
I do think Dallas is going to take this fight though.
He goes too close to the ground.
But
Fearless looks like he got a double knockoff kill.
not bad.
Or at least
Not a bad start for
one
Shock.
of them got knocked. And that probably, I think, he was
Not a
just
bad
spinning around
start.
the point
Not a
there.
bad start.
Nicely done by Dallas to bring things back.
Yeah, 40% there earned for San Francisco.
Yeah. But damn,
It's just
that
so
was the
crazy
Shock
what
almost turned that fight
turns
around.
back to Sparkle and just backs up into him. Nano up to the Bara in the sky. 2 shots in, forces Sparkle back a little bit.
It looks like they almost wanted to possibly ult
Nano on
Nero there. I think that's what they're trying to do.
But he's actually like, it just
There it is.
outranged him. Okay, there he is.
Yep.
Fielder blows up instantly there. Nero is in the perfect spot to get value from the nano boost. Sparkle had it too.
Huh?
Couldn't do much with it though. They brought Doha back into the fight though, so there's a real chance that Dallas can sort of secure things from here. Losing Harmon hurts those chances, but again, a minefield's good. Nero finds...
That timing.
Okay, gets Fearless
Oh
with the
my.
barrage, so he needed at least 1 kill there. And now Doha eventually gets
Wow.
taken down. Even with the
Did Shock
minefield
take
in
this?
play here,
Shock
the
does
can work
take
around
that
it.
fight.
They're back in control.
Okay. Let's go.
The Nano on the Pharah.
Come on.
I mean, Pharah's already
All right, we have ball ult right now. Shock has ball ult and Valk.
You have to send the D.Va in, sometimes switch to a hit scan. You know, having the damage reduction with the nano boost plus the Mercy pocket, even without rocket barrage,
wow,
it is so deadly. The combination is just quite filthy. Is Sparkle kind of hovering above here, looking for maybe a big barrage. See what he
I'm just trying to see what happens here. I don't even like.
I think he knows the Ana's in this back corner.
Yeah, but he can't see them. Twilight is doing a really good job of staying protected. Glister, that is
Wow.
audacious.
I'm
He
surprised
slipped
that
the
didn't
force bomb in
stick.
behind that defense matrix. Smurf is slept so close to the Mega. Can he get away? Oh, no, he cannot. He'll be res, though, instantly.
Good
Violet
res by
very quick there
Violet.
on the
Really good
18.
res.
And the ball's back
And a
in
pick.
play.
Shock has a pick.
No harm, no foul, I suppose.
Nano on the
Smurf,
D.Va.
I mean, yeah, Smurf's taking a beating right now as well. Doha out of the picture here, but Jex has gone down. Glister's able to find that crucial Mercy pick-off. And Hanbi now is just going to get hammered from the window. The Shock looks so good right now. And Dallas is stuck.
This is such a close team fight. I don't know who's going to win this.
Well, it's not completely over yet. Fearless with mines on the point.
I don't know who's going to win this.
Gonna
Actually,
drop
in
them down.
Dallas,
They're
actually,
gonna
I
be
think
able to take
Dallas
it
wins
back.
that fight.
Violet, I think, is off the map. Oh, no, he's able to make it back
Okay.
up, but not able to live.
Holy
He
crap.
went quite low there.
These team fights.
Is they had to... Dallas actually had the Nano Hanbin
These
down,
team
but
fights.
So low, they needed somebody to contest. He gets a Nano as soon as Nero gets one. Nero wasn't able to really do much work with his Nano, but you're going to have a Pulse Bomb and Rocket Barrage here for the Shock.
Yeah, a big Pulse Bomb could really swing this fight in either direction. A fantastic Biotic Grenade just forces position. That allows the Shock to move up and take the point. And that's all Twilight setting that up there. Nicely done. Pulse dropped. Glister nimbly just sidesteps that one.
Wait for it.
But Smurf has no help on the point.
I'm just like
Somehow,
watching these team
space
fights.
has
These
been
are so.
created such that, I mean, Twilight couldn't really help
Wait
out of the
for
fight,
it.
so now he has to nano his D.Va. Choi trying to make the best of a little bit of a bad situation.
Wait.
Oh, he might have found a perfect opportunity to go for Jexa here. Or he'll settle for Hanbin if he can get them. Glister's been brought back into the fight, and the Shock just flipped the point.
I don't even know who's gonna win
There's a
this.
barrage here
But
for
huge
Nero.
pick by
He's
Nero.
effectively, and he gets rewarded with a kill on Fearless. The Pulse Bomb here for Glister has been held in reserve for so long, but eventually has to go somewhere.
Ooh!
I couldn't have asked for a better place.
Let's go, come
Twilight
on.
gets rid of Sparkle before he even gets up into the
Come
air.
on.
He gets two. He's killed both of the
Hanbin does have his ultimate.
Twilight on the arm, really making waves here. And Hanbin desuited.
Huge pick by Nero. The timing wasn't there. They are able to res Hanbin right away, though.
Get the res. Nice job by Fearless to create the space for that opportunity. Now Fearless not so sure what else to do but to spin, buy a little bit of time.
Oh, that nade actually might be.
Catches Fielder. Twilight doesn't hit the
I was gonna
gets
say,
blocked by Jexa, who gets 2 kills. This is insane. 3 kills for Jexa. Violet's gonna go down now. Eventually, he's brought to the ground. Doha gonna try and dodge away from the self-destruct, but he can't get out of the minefield.
Oh my!
That could have gone.
I didn't even know how to call that.
What in the world? Are you just... Mercy comes through with 3 for the Dallas Fuel. Almost.
Oh my!
And
Shock takes the first round.
The one play that we were actually on with Choi, where he like breaks up a res, tries to break up a res in the corner. That actually allows Violet the space to bring Glister back, which was pretty impactful because then he goes in that little bit of a spree on the point. But man, Dallas almost flipped that towards the end. Yep, we can take a look from.
Oh my, this is so close.
I mean, look at how much he gets done here. The res, the pistol, kills the Pharah, keeps the Ana alive. And then he
Unreal.
takes out
Wow.
I mean, that is just
Wow.
Yep.
And here we go.
Beautiful stuff there from Jexa.
And it looks like Fuel's going to run Soldier on this map. And Zen, they're running the Brig Zen comp.
Heartbreaking.
They're running the Brig Zen comp.
Fuel have to focus now on Control Center. Oh, which Smurf has opted to go for the Orisa. Nero gets shield bashed.
They are able to get Lamp out really early, which obviously isn't good for Shock here. But I think Nero has some pretty good map control where they have to kind of...
Dallas is not
that was a pretty good play there. They kind of have to...
play the Winston
but
which maybe they feel like they have an advantage of the ball.
Yeah, the map control is so good for Fuel.
76 Tracer here.
Right.
As this will be the point going over to the Dallas
Okay.
first.
But that's perfect. That podium position actually gives Soldier 76 unfettered sidelines of the whole point, right? If they can deal
This
with
is crazy.
which they did, because Jexa just...
All right, so they switched up their comp a little bit. Nero plays Torb now,
It's a perfect place to play with your
which
Soldier.
actually makes sense in the comp they're running, because if they get the point right away against that comp, it will play really well. But they have to take, they're gonna have to go right side here, take control, and see if they can use that window after they get the point a little bit. Or they're just gonna use the window right away and they're gonna pick on Zen. Either way, that works.
This will really challenge Fearless and Sparkle.
As long as they keep up.
Sparkle does not connect the pulse.
Smurf. There we go.
So San Francisco in a great position now. Minefield drop down. Violet trying to get away from Hanbin. Jexa
Wait.
not looking. Eventually turns around to deal with Violet. He does finally succumb. Across the point, flies trick open because Doha, again, back on his little podium there.
These
Goes
team
for the
fights are
tactical visor.
insane.
I mean, tough to stave off that position, but the Fuel eventually just overcome the shock. Sheer weight of front-loaded damage in that fight.
They're gonna have to, if they okay. So this one's gonna have to
Another
happen.
pick there on the Soldier. The Soldier just consists.
If Shock can control the left side of the map after, like, once they get them off the left side of the map, Shock is gonna have a really, really easy job of being able to hold the point for a while. The problem is that left side is so good for them.
Deadeye.
Pretty smart Deadeye here. Because Glish is going to be able to be a little bit aggressive on that. They're going to be able to get the map control, and they can't step back up on the spot they want to be on. Now, obviously, we're going to see Zenel come out from Fuel, but look at the point now. It's going to be like that for a while.
Smurf can just sort of shelter behind those blobs.
Nice
and
pick.
Hanbin was stuck in the corner again. He couldn't get away this time. Doha's biotic field keeps him alive long enough now, and there's a ball in the back line. Fielder strikes, he gets rid of Violet. Sparkle's in position to do some real work. Even with the rally in play, Sparkle's still able to find yet another kill. It was Fielder, in fact, that finished
Come on!
Joy. That's 3 kills for Fielder in this fight.
Come on!
I mean, people aren't expecting his Zen to be a big deal, but he comes out here looking like a natural.
And that's going to be a pile driver with a minefield here from Fearless, put right on the choke where the shot would come on through. So they're not going to be able to get back and get a touch. 80% and counting, 80% plus and counting here for the Dallas Fuel. The one fight to win this here, really.
Choi has ultimate coming up. Or Choi does have ult. This is going to be tough, though.
This will be a self-destruct to kick
I was going to say,
Doha now with attack visor.
This is tough.
But create space. Violet has to use the Transcendence already, so Doha can just work his way around the backside here. I mean, he's here to stay. He throws down the biotic field. He knows that he needs to make something happen here. The Transcendence.
Big pick by Violet, but...
I mean, Field has had an incredible round so far.
Guess what, chat?
Get away from the scrutiny of Jexa. He gets slapped around the face with a mace. And
never mind. We are going to be going to the third round of the fifth map.
In the second round, the legs get locked for Doha.
You have got to be kidding me.
This series is literally anybody's. I mean, it's just so back and forth between maps and rounds. I feel like these teams are both really evenly matched.
You have got to be kidding me. On the 5th map, the 3rd round.
But it's so odd.
Come on,
right?
Shock.
Like, what, Dallas
it's down to this map.
Paris Eternal, then Paris comes in and loses to Boston. You know, Atlanta, who we didn't think was going to be great with this meta.
Basically, once what happens there is that once Fuel was able to set up in that spot, their positioning is so good that with the comp shocks on,
I mean, if this
it's just it's really tough to be able to win the fight on retake. But there wasn't many comps they could go that would be able to retake that efficiently with the ult advantage that Fuel has at that point.
This is what's on the edge of glory.
So they could switch it to like a mirror comp there, but you gotta remember that they won't have the ults, and it will take them a while to be able to do that. And they can just keep rotating the Briggs and ults the whole time, for the most part. All right, here we go.
Look like a Mack truck. I mean, his health dropped down to nothing as they're able to bring him back to life. So Doha doing a nice job.
I think.
Kinda like farming up
But wait, Nero goes down there?
Yeah, I mean, Fearless, nice tech there, gets himself back.
Wait, this flank by Doha.
Grenade though. Doha, that's a sideshow flank. All right, he's backs away, forced to throw down that biotic field, and perfect work. I mean, this works out. Great response from the Fuel. They are with him in a moment's notice.
I mean, he's been playing some very
tough start
positions in 76, like in front of his tanks and a decent amount of the time, but the Shock not able to capitalize, right? Not able to chase him down, make a play. And remember the series that we cast with the Gladiators and Atlanta, where like Kevster and Kai were putting so much pressure on the other, like McCree or whatnot.
Blister has pretty good map control right now. And Hanbin already had to use Flight.
He hasn't been able to access him at all.
It's actually not a bad spot, but Fearless does get a pick.
Twilight, right.
Can't do anything about that.
Okay, well, either way, Dallas.
Let's go again.
Looking good. San Francisco look a little listless.
Wait,
right
they used
now.
Soldier Ult?
That kill there from
okay, that's going to be good for their ult pool.
Unexpected to say the least, and this TAC Fires are just compounding
for Shock
for San Francisco. They got themselves to this point by showing some great tenacity. They can't just let it fall apart here.
Well, Glister's still trying to make a play on this flank to go for like Doha or the Zen or somebody, but they are tracking him so well. They know exactly where Glister is. They're not letting him get any type of position. And look at what they're doing. This is a hunt for Twilight. They know like, Twilight's pushed all the way back to the Shock spawn. He's not going to be in this fight at all.
Minefield on the point. Here's that Transcendence in play.
I can't really tell what's going to happen in this fight. Good res by Violet. That res by Violet could be huge, actually.
Properly. Oh, Spark didn't have recall there. A couple rockets was all Nero needed to take him down now. And this looks like the Shock's best chance to get in. Doha, Biotic Field, can't keep him alive.
They can get like, if they can actually get the point here in like 2 seconds.
Like
but they go for it.
Ooh,
nice!
Keep that clock
nice shot by Nero right there.
Have to use a barrage here, but he's starting to get
has to use the ult there.
Shield bash away. The rally brig in play. Fearless trying to get around the corner.
What?
Unbelievable stuff. Dallas is still in control of the point now. They're at 92%. This is getting out of hand. Nero needs to find a kill, and he needs it now. Don't let
everybody's getting one shot.
Finds the mark, and Violet next to fall. San Francisco Shock. An utter capitulation at the final hurdle here. And they've got no one left. The Dallas Fuel outlast the Shock in a 5-map bonanza. And it ends here on Lijiang. What a performance from Dallas.
What an absolutely wild finish.
What a series that was.
You know, for the last 2 fights, though, like Fearless and Sparkle were basically just spawning.
What a series that was. Such a good match, though. Holy crap.
Where it was like when Audi was getting taken out. He was just trying to
what a good match.
For him, hoping that his teammate can draw them back and allow him to get in. And then, you know, right before that last
what
fight,
a good match, chat. Well, you know, thanks for hanging out, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. Obviously, you know, we Shock wasn't able to get the win, but it was a really good match. It was a really good match, though. It came down to the wire. Both teams are really good. So tomorrow we'll have another co-stream at around 4:30. It really depends on how the matches go before. It might be earlier than that. It might be after that. But tomorrow we will see you then. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Remember to sub to the Shock channel if you haven't. So thank you a ton for hanging out. I appreciate it. I really do hope you enjoyed. Before I go, I'm Emongg. This is Flats. Do you have anything you want to say, Flats?
Good morning, YouTube.
Sounds good. Have a great day or night, wherever you're from, everybody. Catch y'all later. Bye-bye.